now. Me and you, we ain't the same now. Lions coming out to play now. Opposition out the way now. Out of the way. You wasn't invited. Say you come to play. I dare you to try it. You don't wanna try me. Then step up to my team. Yeah, out of the way. Yeah, yeah. Out of the way. Yeah, yeah. Out of the way.
With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker, the future is feeling.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the NASCAR Truck Series with the Precision Racing League for Season 3 for the 2023 campaign. We got a lot of twists and turns that we're going to go through this season, and I'm not Joey Tebben. It's a fresh voice for Season 3 here with Derek Watson this afternoon. Going to be a fun time starting in the, what I say before, the great state of Tennessee. Like I said, I'm Terry Radford. We misspelled it. I'll be Redford for tonight. Derek Watson's joining me here this afternoon. Derek, it's going to be a good time here at Nashville Super Speedway just before we get to the Chicago Street Course next week.
It is going to be a very good time tonight, and this is a very tricky track. Terry, you know what? It doesn't have a rocky top, but it's a very bumpy surface and hard to drive for these trucks.
Well, we're not too far away from Vanderbilt, in which Tennessee beat them to preserve their spot in the Orange Bowl this season. As we take a look at what the season is going to look like, Chicagoland Speedway here for the trucks. The Chicago Street Course will be for our Xfinity drivers. Then Mid-Ohio, New Hampshire, Pocono, Richmond, Michigan, IRP, which we saw that a couple seasons back. Watkins Glen and the Milwaukee Mile will be making its return back to the schedule here for round number 10. Derek, across those schedule here, out of all 10 rounds, which one pops off the board to you?
You know, for these trucks, I'm looking forward to Michigan. I think that's going to be fun. I think the one that pops off the board is the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. That's one that's going to be challenging for these drivers. And if you know how to drive that course well, Terry, you're going to get up a lot of points in this PRL league. And that, and in Watkins Glen, those are the two keys to winning the season, I think.
I think we'll figure it out. Which one of our people at Mid-Ohio Sports Course Park is our road course ringer that will go out here and get it done. But we do have to thank all the people that make this possible. Advanced Sim Racing is owned and operated by passionate sim racers. Advanced Sim Racing designs and builds the sturdiest and most durable aluminum profile racing simulating cockpits available in the market today. All PRL members also get a 5% discount code on ASR products using the Precision 5 coupon code. Then we got Racebox Sim Racing. Racebox offers mid and high-end button boxes for sim racing enthusiasts. From the casual gamer up to the most meticulous sim racing driver. Competitively priced and carefully handcrafted, their button boxes are an enjoyable addition to any sim racing setup. Visit RaceSpotTV.com and get a 5% discount using the Precision 5 coupon code. And then the Butt Kicker. Butt Kicker products add incredible immersion and realism to every game. Feel every nuance and truly put yourself in the driver's seat with the Butt Kicker. Mechasim Hardware is a small company from the Czech Republic, and their goal is to produce high-quality sim racing hardware. If you're looking for high-end pedal sets, handbrakes, or sequential shifters, visit Mechasim Hardware eShop right now to get up to speed. And Moradness. Moradness is a performance lifestyle brand motivated by motorsport and founded by professional race car driver Daniel Morad. For more information, visit moradness.com. Whew. We got to look at this. We had Ninja Trader last season, and we were able to track the performance. And here we go. So we're going to track some performance here this afternoon, starting with the 109.
Yeah, that's right. Here we got the 109 here on camera. Qualifying is underway. About a minute 20-ish left on that clock. As you see counting down there, and this, of course, is Austin Hunter, Terry, and he looks pretty comfortable in that car so far, or in that truck, rather.
Yeah, I'm not going to give Austin Hunter any credit at all. Yeah, he gives me a hard time. But the Sunoco colors there on that 109 this season, good to see a fresh look to these trucks. William Hartman's doing what William Hartman's always done. Matthew Karakoff up front, Sullivan, a new addition with Palumbo and Adam Schoen, or Scone. I think I said Scone right. Dice Smith, Atkins is back in the series. McGarvey, Brendan Chatley, he's new in this as well. Well, there's the 81 of Cody Atkins here on the track. Looks like to be on lap number 2. We'll see if Cody can jump up out of that 8th place position. I learned a little bit in the trucks this afternoon in the McConey setup C-fixed. Had a good time as there's Ronald Overbay. He's a little further down there. CM Pennington in the 24th position. He jumps up to 12th. What a lap.
Yeah, what a lap. And this track is so much about gaining comfort and figuring out the line. This is a very unique track, Terry. It's a concrete-based track, not something we see too much of anymore. It's actually the longest concrete track I could think of. Look at the multicams there. Got some nice green screen effects and some looks like nice collectibles in the background. But this is a 1.33 mile concrete course, Terry. It's the longest one on the NASCAR schedule.
Well, for the guy at the top right corner, we don't condone the use of e-cigarettes. We only condone e-NASCARs. We'll take a look at the starting grid here. William Hartman starts on pole with Matthew Karakoff to the outside. Dallas Sullivan, and Hayden Palumbo, Adam Scone, and Alan Dice is your top 6. Back there to 7th, where you'll find Dylan Schmidt, Cody Atkins, Kevin McGarvey, and Brendan Chatley. With Stephen Kirby, a new addition as well into the PRL with CM Pennington, Austin Hunter, Ryan Traver, Thomas Brindle, Timothy Amonale, I say that right, Zach Panzarella, and Stacy Hunter back there in 18th. 19th is going to go to Tom Macy, Dalton Geyer, Philip Beaver, Edward Peltz, a new one, Ronald Overbay, a new one, and Alex Hillman, another new driver here. Richard Pruitt, Garrett Austin, Zachary Smith, Oliver Goff, Nicholas Starling, and Robert Goff back there in 30th. And last but not least, Zachary Austin for Reese Bogue Motorsports, a new addition as well, starting 31st. He's going to try to use the Reese Bogue effect to come from the back to the front. All the trucks are lined up. 31 of them are ready to go here and tackle the Music City. Derek, I know you said don't use the word great to describe Nashville, but what makes this track so difficult?
Oh, it's so much to it, Terry. I mean, start with the dog leg in the middle of the track. It's not a straight away in the way you think of it. It's got that weird dog leg you have to manage. As I kind of hinted in the opening, it's a rough track. It's a rough surface. And because it is concrete, the grip is different. It's harder to get grip here, I think, than non-concrete tracks. This is very challenging. It's going to be a battle all night long here for these drivers to stay in the lead pack and be up there ready to win.
I think it's going to be interesting to see what driver sets themselves apart from the field here tonight, with this being a difficult track. I was racing the C-Fix today in preparation for this race, and I'll tell you what, I had a lot of weird finishes. You take a look at the track conditions here, 77 degrees, 80-degree track temp. So the Truck Series is going to have a lot of night races on the contrast to what the Xfinity Series will hold here. It's 8:22 Eastern Standard Time in the sim of the date of 24th of June. So it is the date and time that the race will be taking place is what we'll race here tonight. All I'm going to say is it was a very difficult time getting around here for me. I had a lot of good finishes. I led a couple laps, almost had a win, but got black flagged late in the race front. Somebody missed a shift, and, well, I tried to pass him on the inside because I didn't want to wreck the field or myself. It happens. We'll see who's going to conquer the concrete tonight at Nashville Superspeedway as we round turns 3 and 4. That pace car is going to dip down onto pit lane, and I'm going to steal Derek Watson's line because he gave it to me. And green. They might be walking in Memphis, but tonight we're racing green flags in the air at Nashville. We get down the back straightaway, still pretty clean, but we're going to look 3 wide in turns 3 and 4 as the 00 is going to go to the outside of Matthew Karakoff. He slid up out of the groove. Derek, you don't want to be up here this early.
I don't want to be 3 wide at all at this track, Terry. Look, Hunter, that's wide right there.
Oh, the 5's in the wall hard. The 25 goes with him. Alan Dice starts the season on and the 25 gets popped even more. That's the 11, the 98, the 05 of Tom Macy's in it as well. Huge wreck at Nashville. That is not what people wanted their season to start off with. They said the wreck was going to happen. There goes the wreck as Alan Dice just gets turned.
Yeah, that's the hard part about this, is that your awareness of 3 wide at this track is different for some reason. I don't know if it's the banking. I don't know if it's that weird shape of that dog leg. There's something about it, Terry, that makes an awareness of 3 wide very difficult to keep up with here. And we saw it right there in that first lap, someone being aggressive, pushing 3 wide, and this is the result. We'll see if we can get a replay of it, but that's just unfortunate to start your season off that way in this PRL Truck Series.
And it sucks for drivers like Alan Dice, Cody Atkins, who looks to be on pit road from this early incident. I had Alan Dice going to fight for a championship this season. The 25 of Hayden Palumbo, not the way he wanted to start his season. Ronald Overbay, another driver that's new. Tom Macy, Alex Hillman, a lot of new drivers started off the PRL season for themselves in a deficit that they're going to have to make up at Chicagoland next week. Just a tough break. Take a look at the replay. They're 3 wide. Karakoff's to the outside. The 25 of Hayden Palumbo's in the middle, and he just gets in the quarter panel there of the 5, and around he goes, and everybody else collects behind him.
Looked like maybe he got squeezed down a little bit from the top and felt like he had nowhere to go. But this is part of the frustration of racing is, the other guys involved are going to say the same thing. Guys, we're lap 0 and we're 3 wide. What are we doing? It's lap 0, race 1 of season 3. See this again here. It's going to be from Hayden Palumbo. Is this a replay or is this just different?
That's a it looks like he got touched from the outside. Yeah. Maybe he got a little pinch from the outside from the guy on the
just
wall.
A little contact. Oh, there it is.
And then it just takes the rest with him.
Fortunate. So now the key for these drivers, though, that I think is important to remember, Terry, is these guys who are getting repaired right now, you're doing it under caution, so you're quote unquote saving some time. Get back out here, get some points, do those things that you need to do, because every point matters in this system of PRL. There's no playoffs, there's no there's no chase, there's no win and in. Every point matters, and you and I have both called races in this league, and we know at the end of the season we're counting those single points to see who wins these titles. You got to get back out there and race.
This is going to save some time. We were slotted to go 65 laps in 30 and 40 minutes, so we're 4 minutes into the season already. William Hartman holds this race lead with Dallas Sullivan, Adam in the 79, and Matthew Karakoff back there in 4th. So we'll see if Matthew Karakoff can actually come up here and defend his championship run that he had last season and move on. But in hindsight here, you talked about it being race 1, lap 0 of the PRL for the truck series. You're right. There are no playoffs. This is it. It's not a win and you're in situation like most places are. This is, you have to be consistent over a body of 10 weeks to put yourself in a position going into the Milwaukee Mile to potentially win a championship. We haven't necessarily seen a close truck battle or a close Xfinity battle in a couple seasons. Off your head, if you had to take a guess at this season, just going off of qualifying results from tonight, obviously, would you potentially say that maybe William Hartman and Dallas Sullivan and Matthew Karakoff, maybe Dylan Schmidt might be a good option to say, hey, we might have a close battle with 5 drivers or so?
It could be. Like I said, and then when we looked at the schedule a few minutes ago, the real question is, how do those guys do on road courses in these trucks? There's 2 road courses. There's Mid-Ohio and Watkins Glen, Terry, and both of those are challenging. Watkins Glen, I would say, is probably the easier of those 2 road courses on the schedule. But you can see someone come from behind who's a road course specialist and really put themselves in contention if they're a decent oval driver. But if they ace those road courses, we could see a new name pop up with those 2 road courses on this schedule.
Well, George Strait always says you got to have an ace in the hole. A little secret nobody knows. Maybe somebody has the ace in the hole on the road courses and can set themselves apart 2 weeks from tonight at Mid-Ohio to potentially put themselves in a little bit of a different box than the rest of the field and get away from the cookie cutter scene of the 1.5 miles and the short tracks that we're going to see throughout the entirety of the season. A couple notable drivers that are out here. Cody Atkins in the 81 is done. He has retired from the race. Ronald Overbay is done as well. So the 81 and the 98 are done. Hayden Palumbo and Alan Dice look to be still on pit road with damage repair. So the 5 and the 25 look like they're going to make an attempt to come back out and do what Derek said, gain points and try to figure it out as the season progresses, and hope that more carnage, ensues over this field. The pace truck pulls down for the 2nd time here tonight. William Hartman and Dallas Sullivan are going to take them back. Green flag racing in the Music City. Good 2x2 battle. Second on back as William Hartman Marvin gets the jump of the century. He was gone before it was all done. And there's Matthew Karakoff with a collection of cars on the bottom of your screen. He's a very focused driver right here with the, it's not a Logitech wheel.
No, very focused look indeed. Well, this is now a good shot for these drivers. You got to restart under your belt. You kind of knew where the pedal was and when the line was to go. This is our restart here, and everything looks good so far. We're seeing some nice side-by-side battles here, and nice one here.
It's Kevin McGarvey to the outside of the 92 of Dylan Schmidt. The crossover almost got ensued, but the 77 couldn't make the pass stick. He tucks in behind there outside the top 5 in P6. He's going to have Brendan Chatley try to come up here and make this run. But a lot of returning drivers, but a lot of new faces in this truck series. This is like a feeder series into the Xfinity series. Oh, hard in the back. Austin Hunter's wrecking with the 03. Oh, there's 4
even
trucks.
Kirby involved. The 109 we saw during qualifying.
That's not Austin Hunter. The 109 is going to be Stephen Kirby. They got what? This is what I get. I learned the truck color, and then they have the same one there. Austin Hunter still sitting in the 312 in 9th, but Kirby, new driver as well, involved in an incident early. And there's a couple drivers that looks like they were tagged up in this, as Kirby's going to have to tow. He's not going to pull that truck down pit lane on his own. Well, there's 2 wrecks in about 10 minutes. Let's take a look at the replay right here. Oh, he just turns him.
It's a good old case of not clear, driver, not clear.
It was just a turn. And this is why this is the feeder system, Derek. They have to learn race awareness. It's something that I had to learn last season in the Xfinity series. Race 1, I goofed up. Race 1 of last season, I made a big old goof trying to figure out, hey, how do I race against this person? And right here, another issue that ensues, and bam, we have a driver turns down the front straightaway at Nashville.
Well, there is something to be said, Terry, for the fact this is a track that we don't exactly get to a lot on the schedule in iRacing. It feels like we come here right about now. Last season the Gen 4s were here, and I sort of remember that maybe the Silver Crowns were here, but I'm not positive on that. But we don't get here a whole lot. So a lot of drivers don't have on-track experience with this track. It feels so different. You were here today. I was here today in different series, but it's just a very unique feeling. So I'm willing to give some forgiveness, And as you said, you have to learn who you're racing against. These new guys want to come out here. They want to make a name for themselves. They want to impress. And you have to make moves to make that happen.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I mean, this is one of those tracks that, to me, in the Xfinity car, I was overdriving a ton. I just didn't feel comfortable in the Xfinity car here trying to learn how to get in the corner. But I did practice with my Whataback teammates. And even though I'm in the broadcast booth for this season and not racing as me and Joey Tebbin have, I would say, just swapped. We tried to go and I do a season, he races, and then we go from there of how it's going to run. But the good part about it is I still have that growth and development with those guys like Richard Regan Jr., Jeff Evans, Bradley Holly. They still teach me things. But the trucks, this is what I love the truckers. I love watching trucks go around. They're easier to drive, in my opinion. But when it comes to Nashville, this is a very hard track. It is a 1.5 mile. It's a 1.33 mile racetrack, but it races like a short track. You got to be really slow in the corners. You have to be able to back it up. You have to save tire. You have to understand where the throttle is. I watched Tony Stewart's interview with Kenny Wallace last night, and Tony talked about having 1,000 places on the pedal that you can hit. You learn 1,000 places in your foot to touch the gas pedal. They have to learn that part to get to the Xfinity series to start running with I would say the upperclassmen, the upper statesmen of the PRL, because hell, we went caution free almost every race last season, and that was awful for a guy like me. I didn't know the damn Xfinity series at all. I had no idea how those cars raced. I was learning just like everybody else was.
And the funny thing, you said the right thing. This race is like a short track, but what do we call it? For some reason, we called it a super speedway. It's not a super speedway. They just use that name to identify the difference between this one and a fairgrounds track. But you're right, it races more like a short track. But yeah, it's an interesting ride. Now, I want to point out real quick, you said you and Joey swap every season. I think I heard those guys say it's an upgrade to get Joey, but that might just be rumor and innuendo. I'm not sure yet.
Joey was a little bit faster than me on the racetrack, I can tell you that much, but he races a whole lot more than I do. He knows a little bit more about the Xfinity car than I was accustomed to in the fixed series. I'm more of an open setup person. I race open quite a bit. I haven't raced open as much because I want to learn the fix. I didn't realize how much the fixed series helps you inside of the open races. Bradley Holly actually taught me the big difference. He was like, no, if you learn how to save tires here, you're going to go race the open set and you're going to be like, wow, this is how fast I can go. And I picked up almost a full second over an entire season. That was just, it was incredible to watch. And having a guy like Richard Regan Jr. set me down once a week and say, hey, no, you're overdriving it here. You're underdriving it here. You don't need to be a coward when it comes to hitting the throttle. And that's what a lot of these drivers have to learn is you can be aggressive. You can understand aggression. You just cannot overly aggress yourself and assert yourself to the front. You have to be patient. That's what William Hartman's done. He knew he has to sit on the pole. He has to be good in qualifying. He don't want to be in the back with everybody. CM Pennington, he's been running with Abner Acosta. Can he come out and break through and win this season? Pacetrack's going to come down for the third time here at Nashville Super Speedway. They'll get to the restart box, and William Hartman will get on the loud pedal here. Green flags back in the air. Still 2x2 for second into turn one as it goes all the way back with the 79 of Adam. He's going to jump down there as the double O of Karakoff pushes him in the corner as Sullivan gets the run on the outside. And you don't see very many outside passes here.
No, you don't. And the way you'll make that outside pass, though, is you're going to outbrake someone in the corner. You're going to be willing to hold on and brake a little bit later and carry more speed to that corner. That will kill your car. It will kill your tire a little bit. But if you can do it once or twice per run, and make a pass, as I think is what's going to happen here. You're going to try to outbrake him, but he backs out of it. Now, what it does do for you, though, Terry, for the 46 on the outside here, it allows him to open that wheel up a little bit more, get on the pedals sooner, and feel more comfortable out of that corner. So it's all give and take.
A lot of give and take going on back here behind the 46 of Dallas Sullivan as Karakoff, Schmidt, McGarvey, and Chatley all are jockeying for position here and side by side. And they're cutting each other off. There's a good look at Richard Pruitt. He's got the, I think that looks like the Logitech wheel. He's getting in the corner good with a nice 12th place run right now, riding one spot behind the 71 of Stacy Hunter. Timothy Emmanuel right there in the top 10. Good start for him as Thomas Brindle's up there at 9th with him as well. He's got a good view of the race leaders, of what's in front of him. He's starting to understand where he can pick up the throttle, where your entry point is. You're not using a whole lot of brake here in these truck series events either. Momentum based. We'll see if he can keep the momentum up and ride it up here inside the top 10.
Yeah, at most you're going to use the brake just to kind of help just gently turn the truck into the corner and start that diamond process or whatever process you want to use in these corners. But you're right, not a whole lot of brakes being used here. That'll be the difference between this and maybe the Xfinity rides we watch later. See how that happens. But great battles going on here. Look at these guys all spreading out, finding different lanes, trying to see where they can find just an oomph of time to pass someone here.
We got to find a ton of time here as Karakoff. We take a look at Hayden Palumbo right here on the 25 in a replay. It looks like he caught the wall. And you got the battles going on all the way around here. If we take a look at the 39 of Timothy Emmanuel, he cuts right in front of Stacy Hunter, who's there in the 11th spot. You got the 22 of Thomas Brindle. He's putting the pressure on the 312 of Austin Hunter, who's having a good run inside the top 10. The Flamin' Hot Cheetos machine. Try to get him some of that ETC machine. This is going to be fun to watch as this whole season progresses. Is how do the new drivers fare with the more experienced drivers, the drivers who have been a part of this series for a long time? Looks like Sam Pennington's fell out of the top 10. Panzarella starting to work his way up. And Austin's just sitting there holding the top 10 spot, just minding his own business.
Yeah, so let's watch this here. This would be an onboard partner of Austin Hunter here. I wanted to show this off for a second. Let's see if we can see how bumpy this track is to this onboard here. This is not the smoothest of surface. This is not New Daytona. This is not New Pocono. This is a bumpy ride all across. You can kind of see that in the wheel inputs there, Terry. This is a handful to hold on to at times.
Yeah, I don't know how he does all these flashy lights in his face. He's got a lot of red going on him as he gets the RPMs up. You just see it glaring off his glasses right there where he just starts thinking, "Hi, Austin. Good to see you, boo-boo. We miss you, and don't wreck. You ain't allowed to wreck whole season." There's a car slow on the outside as a lap machine that they've caught here. I believe that's the 25 that is going to go another lap down. It'll be 10 laps down there for Palumbo. Luckily, nothing happened as here goes the 24. Pruitt, he's going to look underneath the 71. That's going to be Stacy Hunter. He couldn't make the pass right there. But, man, doesn't that 24 Trek just look like an old Jeff Gordon throwback every week?
I was thinking that in my head before you said that. It kind of does. It kind of reminds you of like one of the old Jeff Gordon Pepsi rides a little bit. But, yeah, it really does. Obviously, it says different words on it and different logos. But that color scheme with that kind of greenish yellow 24 and the blue that kind of matches the Pepsi blue, it really does here remind you of that.
Well, he's got the Pepsi logo on the side of it. I'm more of a Coke guy myself because it is the official fan refreshment of the NASCAR Coca-Cola iRace Series. But, who am I? Just a sponsor plug guy who enjoys to plug where I can. But we're going to single file until we get right here with Zach Panzarella and Garrett Austin. They're going to go side by side for the 14th position. Panzarella is going to slide up the racetrack in the 247. He's going to get passed up there on the bottom. And we talked about experience for a little bit. Garrett understood, or Zach understood that Garrett was faster. He moves out of the way. Hey, burn your stuff up. I'll let mine sit back here and rest. And we got 20 minutes to go in this race before we kick over to the Xfinity. No sense in killing it right now. We could potentially see more cautions.
We could see more cautions, and that could play a factor here. But I also, at 20 minutes to go in this timed race, I think we have to now stop laying back. You have to be willing to go take what you can get. 20 minutes will pass by pretty quickly if you're not careful. If you're just waiting for something to happen, that's what causes some of these wrecks. Is these guys get anxious and eager about the timer and the laps, and they want to make something happen, and that's how we end up where we are sometimes.
I think the hardest thing for me to learn last season, other than the car, is we just almost saw a dive bomb attempt there by Timothy Emmanuel. He almost got in Thomas Brindle's back bumper and almost got a whole taste of the flaming hot Cheetos. Was the time clock. The time clock definitely threw me off, and we wasn't racing for laps. We were racing time. So trying to understand fuel mileage and understand how to work the tires. I led 14 laps, by the way, at Texas. Take that, Joey. Let's see if you can lead 14 laps this season. Bet you can't, because I did. But you see a lot of these drivers try to figure out the time. We potentially, I believe we will see a pit stop here tonight. In my 40-lap race, we didn't have to pit, but we're scheduled and slotted now for 78 laps. So we started at 68, now we're at 78. I would assume that we would have a pit stop here at least in the halfway portion, potentially.
Yeah, and the fear about pit stops right now is, like you're halfway through the race, this is kind of the time to do it. But that fear of old racing says the moment I do it, a yellow would come out, and that'll kind of ruin that opportunity. Now, the one question mark would be, did the drivers who pitted on the first couple yellows, maybe to take some gas or get to the back of the field or get some repairs done, are they a little bit more confident in the rest of this race because they have a few extra laps of gas or a few laps newer of tires than what our leaders do?
Well, if you want to talk strategy, I am a big fan. 5 laps into the race, Tom Amacy hit it. So Tom Amacy put 5.1 time-wise of fuel in the car. He's all the way back in 19. He's not running too bad. He's running 31.0s compared to 30.9 that our leader's running. Potentially that 5 laps of fuel could be a big dividend here at the end of this race. As you take a look right here, one spot outside the top 10, that's Stacy Hunter, as he finally started to catch back up to that 39, and Richard Pruitt still right there. So you have a three-way battle for the 11th place position. And getting off the exit of the corner is not too easy because you could easily slide the rear tires if you hit the throttle too quick. It just upsets the balance of the truck. And something that Richard taught me last year was you can overbind the car or the truck just by going in too hot. And it just binds it up. And when you try to get it off the exit of the corner, the back end just wants to step out on you. We'll see if any of these drivers on a longer run with the hotter tire, can they figure it out and keep the tires underneath them?
Yeah, that'll be a question because tire management will matter here. What kind of tire strategy are you willing to implement? I mean, I'm assuming everyone will take 4, but maybe if you're someone in the back, if you're picking a couple names, if you're a Hayden or a Ryan Traver, do you want to take somebody different? Maybe you want to try 2 tires. What do you have to lose? If you end up in the back because it didn't work, well, you're kind of back there anyways, no disrespect. So why not take a swing for the fences and see what hits?
Well, we are in Nashville. You got to gamble when you're down there. There's Robert Goff. I like the background this season with the checkered flags there. I would love to see Robert Goff win this season. I think that would be a fan favorite win if the real elder statesman of the PRL of Robert Goff gets a win. He's back there in 17th place having a good run in the number 15 machine. I would love it. The fans would love it. And I'm sure all the drivers in the PRL would love it as well. It would be a good send-off for me for the remainder of the year. As we take a look right here, the 44 CM Pennington and Zach Panzarella are fighting it out and put Garrett Austin in this fight. Oh, let's not go 3 wide, boys.
At least not there. That was not the spot for 3 wide. He was going to put himself down on the apron to make that 3 wide work. And I know that, we're 16 minutes left, 16 and a half. You get impatient. You want to make a move. You want to gain some spots, but you got to also be smart about it when doing it. Otherwise, you're just going to not finishing at all.
Yeah, you gotta be smart. You cannot be you can't be over anxious and overzealous in this situation. But maybe I'm just giving good advice to Joey, and maybe I should stop giving him good advice. I want to see him suffer throughout the season, just like I had to suffer last season. I'm just kidding. All RaceSpot sticks together. We're a big family. We're a very big family. As right behind Panzarella, there's a 2x2 battle that kind of calmed down just a little bit. Garrett Austin, CM Pennington started fighting it out, and then Oliver Goff moves into this one as well. Started to push him back. Robert Goff's in here as well, so they're running right on top of each other. And well, the battles haven't stopped all race long, except for the race lead. It is 1.6 seconds all the way up from Adam to William. There's a very big difference between the 67 and the 79 machine. I think this right here, if we don't get this together, this could potentially be the next caution.
Yeah, these guys are all racing hard. They're all looking at different lines. This is definitely a multi-groove track. There's no one answer for this track. Now, you may have a preference of taking the inside corner or riding the outside lane, but multiple grooves work here for different purposes. So you'll see these guys hunting the track, seeing what sticks. These guys are fighting hard.
The goal is to keep the tires underneath it. It's Richard Pruitt, Panzarella, all trying to make passes right here. Alex Hillman comes down pit lane back from the 21st position. He's going to make that pass. Pruitt will on Stacy Hunter, move him up to the 11th place position. He kind of cut the nose right there, sliding up in front of Stacy. I wonder if, how Stacy's going to feel about that one. Stacy's a hard-nosed driver. He ain't afraid to stick it in there, but Richard Pruitt's fast as well as you go all the way up here to Dallas Sullivan. He's starting to close in on second place here. As we're going to have Sullivan versus, I'm going to keep saying this wrong. I think it's Scone. I think I'm right when I say it. I'll have him correct me later. But battle for second heats up, and I don't think they're going to catch this race leader anytime soon. I think William Hartman's gone.
Yeah, I believe short of a yellow coming out, I think William Hartman has this thing locked up. But who knows what can happen here. If these drivers can stay in line and form a small bit of a draft line, yeah, we are at a 1.33 mile track. It's not Dega, it's not Daytona, but that drafting could help you a little bit here. Now, there's a great battle here with, that's Kevin McGarvey battling here, trying to get that spot away. It's Dylan Schmidt he's fighting.
Yeah, he's got Dylan Schmidt to the outside. And you talked about the bumps in this place not being as smooth as the new Daytona or Pocono or a couple other tracks that just got a pave. You see the bounciness of this truck. You see him having, when he catches a certain spot on the track, he kicks up a little bit. It's got Matthew Kirikoff back there in 6th as well. Those drivers fighting it out for the 4th place position. So you got a battle for 2nd, a battle for 4th. You even got a battle for all the way back for 7th. This is 4th all through 8th are sitting right on top of each other. Is the 77 of McGarvey's going to look to the outside, and then he peeks back low. He's trying to get a run through the exit of the corner. At 77 looks fast here on the long run.
He looks fast, but what he's actually doing every time he digs inside here and they race side by side through the corner, he's slowing both of them up. And that's why there's a battle for 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th right now. Is because these guys can't pull away. Now, he just made that pass beautifully through 3 and 4 here. So we'll see if he can get moving. But every time you race side by side with someone, in most tracks, you're actually slowing yourself up and allows everyone to catch up behind you. And then it makes for a bigger battle moving backwards.
12 minutes, 27 seconds to go in race 1 for the PRL Truck Series 10 race season. As you take a look right there at Matthew Kirikoff, he's going to jump to the inside here to get inside the top 5 on the 92 of Dylan Schmidt. Austin Hunter's going to come look as well. He's come peeking. It was an awful run. Oh, contact's made through the front stretch of the tri-oval. Austin Hunter saves it, but he's going to lose a spot to Brendan Chatley. Or he washes up, makes contact with Chatley as well.
I'm not sure that was washing up, Terry. I think that might have been a small little hello for what happened back there on the front straight. But yeah, though he was not happy over voice chat and had a few choice words. But wow, that was a crazy moment. First off, let's talk about the simple thing that you and I are going to definitely agree on. He was down on the apron down there on the darker surface. I've seen no one do that this week yet. I was for certain that wasn't going to end well.
I did it one time. And I didn't. No, I did it on purpose. I was I got a penalty, and I said, you know what? I'm tired of racing with these people in the back. I want to get to the front, and it didn't end well for me. I ended up in the grass, and I drove back up to a top 10 finish. But I thought I had some speed down there. There ain't a whole lot of speed down there. That transition where you catch that yellow line onto the banking there, it ain't as fun as it's shaped up to be. But for Austin Hunter to save it right there and to make his way back on the racetrack and not have any issues, pretty good feat here for the 312.
Oh, for sure, yeah. Unlike maybe a track like a Michigan or a Kansas or a Vegas, that surface down there is not flat enough, it's not wide enough, and that dog leg transition really hurts your ability to stay down there and find any time. So you want to keep it up on the track here, if at all possible.
You see they're still fighting it out right here for that 7th place position. I wonder if Chatley is going to make a run up. I know we probably can't repeat what he said on the broadcast, but it'd be pretty funny to potentially hear what Austin Hunter. I've never heard him get mad, but I'm sure I don't necessarily want to know how mad he could get. He still rides in the 7th place position. There's a battle going on back there behind him with Thomas Brindle and Richard Pruitt. That's for the 9th place position. They're trying to fight it out here. They've been fighting for some time now, and still Pruitt cannot get around. And I'd be curious what the combo, if anybody likes the combo of Flamin' Hot Cheetos and Pepsi.
Sounds pretty normal to me. I think that sounds all right. I'm not the biggest fan of Flamin' Hot Cheetos. I'm kind of a wimp about heat, but I've done Flamin' Hot Cheetos and Coke before, so I don't know what the difference would be. Like, I'm down.
I hear Pepsi's just nasty. No,
it's not. Yeah. I'm spreading propaganda.
Oh.
So let's talk real quick though about the element of time, real quick, Terry. We're under 10 minutes. We're almost at 9 minutes to go here. Now, if you're someone, even a 5th, if you're or 6th, a Dylan Schmidt and Austin Hunter, Brandon Chatley back there in 8th. You've got to find time instantly right now, because here's the problem we have. We're coming up with a problem now. Even a caution can't save you. If a caution comes out, if it doesn't happen soon, we're just going to end under caution. So now you've got to get out there and race and find every advantage you can, knowing you're going to have to do it yourself. There's probably no more cautions to save you.
Yeah, potentially no more. And we still got a couple battles on the racetrack that are trying to heat up here. It has been a night where we started off wrecking early, and we have went green since the second caution flag that waved inside the top 10 laps. As the 22 of Brindle, he gets into the wall right there, just ever so slightly pounded the outside wall with the right side of the truck. It's going to allow Richard Pruitt to get by and actually put a little bit of a separation between them. About a truck length will separate them off the exit of turn 2. So far, we've had a lot of heavy hitters. Alan Dice, he's gone. Cody Atkins qualified well. Hillman looked good early. He fell back after some issues, and it just hasn't been a night for new people. Just take a look at Dallas Sullivan. He's still peaking for that second place position, and they've kind of brought the lead down, but not a whole lot as it grows back to 1.6 off the exit of 2.
No, not really at all. It's about the same as it has been. Maybe even a little wider now between first and second. But now you're seeing these guys who decided, we're not going to catch him, so now I'm going to pass you. That's kind of where we are right now, and that's where they should be. That's where Dallas Sullivan needs to be thinking about that extra points involved in whatever can happen left in this race here. What an impressive showing tonight. We've been so busy with the other parts of the field and other battles. We've not talked about William Hartman, and I get it. He's got that lead, and there's more exciting stuff going on, quote unquote. But what an incredible, dominant performance to come out here and pace the field by 1.5 to 1.7 seconds, depending upon the part of the track. That takes practice. That takes dedication. It might take a love for the track. Maybe this is your home track, or you're a fan of this track. But wow, what an incredible run all night long, minus the cautions, has really just paced this field. And I'm pretty sure it's led every lap so far this evening.
Yeah, every lap's been led by the 67 of William Hartman. Second place, Adam Schoen, he put himself in that position very, very early as Dallas Sullivan wants it. He wants to get up here and get to second and start his season off with a podium finish, but he has to get through that 79. He cannot just go up here. He's not making it easy on him. We're going to come down to 6 minutes to go here. We've completed 53 laps. That is, if my math was right, that's more laps than they completed last season. Last season was I think if to use Dylan Coyle's reference, was a bit of a caution fest. So, for William Hartman, he's actually not winning this race because we had a ton of cautions. He's winning this race because he has the pace and the know-it-all to save his stuff, and he's putting it on him. He's been faster than every other driver on the racetrack consistently. There's one or two times you see the Adam and Dallas start to close in by a tenth, and then he puts a tenth back on him.
And here's the only interesting story we can find about William Hartman so far. You look up in his car, he's about to start finding some lap traffic here. Here's hoping that lap traffic doesn't make themselves a story of the race, that they just going to let him by, and that there's no incident, there's no close calls, because if you see a pass by Dallas Sullivan, that would have been for P2 if the race was over. Let's just make sure that William Hartman can clear them well and still lead this race.
Sullivan gets second. We'll see if the 79 can make this run stick on him here, and if he can make a run in turns 3 and 4. He's not going to peek to the inside here. Dallas Sullivan looks like he might have the longer run pace, as we have went 55 laps on these set of tires. So it's who managed it the best. Can he stretch it just a little bit? It looks like he is for the time being. You talked about lap traffic. He is starting to catch some. Not a bunch of heavy traffic, but he's catching onesies and twosies here. No going side by side on him, but I don't know. Coming to about 4 minutes to go, 4 minutes and 20 seconds. If anything was to happen on the racetrack, I would imagine this race is over.
Yeah, it would be. Now, what you have to worry about if you're William Hartman is, do you catch lap traffic in a bad spot? If we can go up to that car for a second, maybe we can see what can happen.
He got around him.
Somebody, I can't hear who it was. But yeah, so if you catch one in a bad spot, then maybe entry door corners where you catch a lapped car, it can hold up your whole entry and really kill some time. But yeah, he seems to clear them just fine.
One fun note, you see the Maradness coupon code for 10% off, Precision 10. Get you to go get the performance-based stuff from Maradness. I'm going to go check them out once we're done with this broadcast and see what they're all about. 3 minutes, 40 seconds to go before we do our post-race interviews, and then we kick it on over to some Xfinity Series action in the daytime at Nashville. As we look back here at 16th, that is Oliver and Robert Goff. It's Goff on Goff crime. 15th and 16th respectively. Robert's having a good race in the top 15 here. I'd be interested to see if he can use this momentum to get better and better throughout the season. Austin Hunter's made a pass on Brendan Chatley, moves him up here to that 6th place position. A couple key notes as well. Brindle slipped back quite a bit. He's back to 10th. Pruitt still stayed at 9th. A couple spots up there. CM Pennington's fell back from where he started. He's right there in the 14th position as well. Just take a look at Pruitt here. He's trying to make a run at the 92 of Dylan Schmidt. He's going for the 8th place position here.
A beautiful pass inside, assuming he makes it stick. If he slides it up, he does. He completes the slide and out will complete the pass here at Nashville Super Speedway. Nice job by the 24 here.
2.5 minutes to go in race number 1. A lot of these drivers, this is the longest green flag run most of them saw last season. Dover was a decent run. They had a long green flag period in that as well. Had green flag pit stops maybe once or twice last year, but not a whole lot of it. 2 minutes to go. It's 1.8 seconds from Dallas Sullivan to William Hartman, who has led every single lap. Garrett Austin's power has went out, and Garrett Austin retired from the race. He slipped back. He cannot fall out of the 24th position. He will be 18 to 19 laps down when this one is over. You take a look right here, the 92 of Smith. They're passing a lap down truck. He's trying to get tonight and pass Thomas Brindle. Smith starting to struggle very late in this race. It's a minute and a half to go in the season opener.
This has been a great race so far. Lots of passing, lots of clean passing. And this track provides a lot of opportunity for that because there's so many different lines and paths to take here. But wow, as I said, what an incredible run by William Hartman. Obviously for him, life is a highway, and he is just set to go here. And he's now counting down that last 1 minute, knowing that unless something happens, he's ready for the yellow. He's hoping for a yellow at this point because he knows that'll secure a victory.
I like the country music reference. That's good. That's good.
Do you know who did the song?
Originally, or the reboot?
I'll take either.
Huey Lewis did the first one, and then Rascal Flatts did the cover.
Oh.
Come on now. I like my music here. We'll have 2 laps to go, as it is a 31-second lap time around here, and he took the flag with about 33 seconds to go. So he'll come around to take the white flag, and this has just been, I'm not going to say it's been a stink show here from William Hartman in the number 67 butt kicker machine. Caution flag waves, and this race is over. And that is Zach Panzarella that ends this race. It was over anyhow. William Hartman won this race convincingly. So white flag will come out right there. Will be the white flag. They'll come around one final time as they catch the pace car, and we'll bask in his glory. And this will be, well, the most anticlimactic win. As you take a look at the replay here, Zach Panzarella and the 39. Oh man!
What that is right there, Terry. Real quick, sorry, that's just a case of old tires probably. Panzarella's been pushing hard the whole race, and probably just got up and started climbing the hill, and couldn't help it. Like, that's what it looked like from this point of view.
Well, that stinks for him, but what it doesn't stink for is very slowly turn through turns 3 and 4 behind the iRacing sedan pace car. William Hartman will come across the line to secure win number 1 of season 3 for the 2023 PRL Truck Series race, and the Cowboy walks away with this one. He gets it done for the established traffic control Toyota. What a good race. Very, very good race, as we'll wait for everybody to come across the line for our unofficial results.
Let's wait for that. I think it's fair to say that William Hartman, you're still the one. Another victory here in this truck series. I'm loaded with these. I'm ready to go all night long. And we're going to talk about your Huey Lewis thing in the next race because you're wrong.
Whoa. Who did it originally?
Tom Cochran is originally.
Really? So Huey was second?
I'm like Huey Lewis did a version. I got to look this up. Go ahead.
I think I was wrong. Huey didn't do the first one.
Yeah. But Rascal Flatts is the one. Rascal Flatts is the one for cars.
Yeah, they did do the cars, didn't they? I think. Yeah, I was wrong. It was him. I don't know why I thought Huey did it. They kind of looked alike. Cochran, Lewis, they both had the long hair back in the day. I do like the Shania Twain reference was good.
Here comes for our victory lap. Wait and see him do his burnout here in Nashville.
Wonder if he's got the butt kicker. If he really does have the butt kicker.
He does. He's feeling it right. He's been feeling it all race. If he has the butt kicker, the surface of that track has been saying hello all night long.
We'll take a look at the results here. William Hartman takes the win. Dallas Sullivan, Adam Scone, Kevin McGarvey, Matthew Kirikoff, Austin Hunter, Brendan Chatley, Richard Ruitt, Thomas Brendel, and Dylan Schmidt, your top 10. Go back here to 11th. We got Stacy Hunter, Robert Goff, Tom Amasi, Zach Panzarella brought out the caution. There to end it, CM Pennington one lap down. Timothy Emanuele at 16th. Oliver Goff, and Nicholas Starling, and Zachary Austin tops off your top 20. Edward Peltz, Dalton Geyer, Philip Beaver, Garrett Austin, Hayden Palumbo, Ryan Travers, Stephen Kirby, Cody Atkins, Alan Dice, and how did I mess this up? Ronald whatever. And then Zachary Smith is back there in 31st. I don't know why I couldn't read that name. That was probably the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. Was attempt to read that, but we don't have our race winner, but we got P2, and he's standing by with Derek Watson.
Yes, sir. Here we go. P2 tonight. Great run. So I want to ask you here, Dallas, how was the racing? We saw you have a hard battle to get P2. Was there any hopes of getting P1 afterwards?
Man, I thought there would be. I kind of hung back there behind Adam there for a while, saving a little bit of fuel, trying to save my tires. And I was like, maybe 10 minutes to go. I'll try to get around him and see if I could mount a charge on William. And once I tried to start getting around Adam, I was going slower. So I was like, well, that's not working. And eventually got a run on him, and I don't know, the gap was a second and a half, 2 seconds. And every time I'd gain a tenth, I'd lose it the next lap. And William just obviously had the speed tonight and had us all covered. So definitely a great race for him.
Yeah, a great race indeed. And a great race for you, a strong battle. This is not a track we visit a whole lot in the schedule. How much practice had you gotten here before the race started?
You know, I think this is actually the first truck race I've done here. I've done some next gen and Xfinity racing. It's, you know, nice and bumpy. It's a fun little track to drive. The corners are a little flatter than your typical mile and a half. So, well, no, it's not. It's like a mile and a third or whatever. But
yeah, 1.3. Yeah.
Yeah. So it takes a little bit more braking, you got to slow down a little bit more, got to finesse it through the corners. Definitely tire wear is huge here. So just doing everything you can to not scrub the right front. And you just do that a couple times and push up off the corner, and it'll ruin your run for the next couple laps while you try to cool it off. So it just takes a lot of concentration to just keep it steady lap after lap.
There you go. Well, good job on P2 tonight. Anyone you want to say hello to before we head out?
Yeah, shout out to my poor teammates. Alan, he got knocked out there at the beginning. Bad luck for him. It happens. But TJ, my other teammate, nice solid top 10 for him. He finished P9. Shout out to my mom and dad watching back home. I hope they're having a nice evening, and appreciate y'all in the booth for showing this to everyone.
All right. Well, once again, good job tonight, and we'll see you next week, Dallas.
Hey, thanks, y'all. Have a great night.
There's P2 out of the way. We'll grab our race winner right here. And William Hartman, you kind of put a smoke show on everybody. What was this track like here to make you so comfortable to go out here and lead every lap?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was a good setup. The truck was really stuck there in the night conditions, and was just able to kind of take it easy, trying to save fuel for the bulk of the run there, since it was looking like it was going to be a little tight. But yeah, just really, really happy with the setup, and had good speed from the start. So couldn't be much happier.
Well, you definitely burned the honky tonk down, but what are you going to do to celebrate going into next week? You got Chicagoland on the docket. Are you going to try to go 2 for 2 and solidify your statement that you're going to go be the champion this season?
We'll do our best. I'm going to have to go put some practice in. It's been a minute since I ran Chicagoland, so we'll see how it goes. But I really like the track. I've run quite a few races there, so definitely looking forward to it, and hopefully we can go back to back.
We could practice together because I love Chicagoland. I actually got I got a second place finish there in my second ever race, so I'm a big fan of that track.
That's great. It's definitely a good one.
Heck yeah, man! Congratulations on your win, and we'll see you next week at Chicagoland.
All right, perfect. Thank you very much.
That's William Hartman, your winner, and we got 4 minutes till qualifying. It's only fitting I get to talk to my buddy here, Austin Hunter. What are you doing?
I'm just hanging out, Terry. It's always a good time to talk to you.
Yeah, you have a good time tonight?
Always. When the track is tight, it always comes to me. I love when the tires burn off, and it's a good night for me.
All right, well, you kind of got to tell the people because there's an elephant in the room and a bunch of stitches on your forehead. How did you get the stitches?
So I'm a part of the curling club of Houston. I taught a Learn to Curl Wednesday, and the first rule of thumb is don't put all your weight on your left shoe. That's your slider shoe. And I didn't listen to myself and put my weight on my slider shoe and face planted face first. And I'm a fat guy and 270 pounds face first into the ice and busted my forehead open.
What did you learn?
Fat plus ice equals busted forehead and concussion. So
I like it. You still got a good finish here tonight, and congratulations on your 6th place finish. And we'll see you at Chicagoland where you potentially could win.
I hope so. I appreciate you guys. Always fun racing for Race Spot. And good luck to the Waterback guys tonight. And good luck to Joey. I hope he's not the one to bring out the first caution tonight.
I have a bet that he will be the first one to bring out the first caution. Thanks, Austin Hunter. Hopefully Joseph Tebben has a big issue. All right, we've got 2 minutes and 30 seconds to go before we actually have to transfer over, and we'll quickly interview Derek if you want to grab Kevin McGarvey.
Yeah, Kevin, so great run here tonight in the Truck Series. Race 1 is complete. Is that any pressure off your back having that first one done?
Yeah, it actually is, because it's been a while since I've been on iRacing. I kind of ran an open race a few hours before this just to shake off the cobwebs a little bit. So I'm extremely happy with the 4th place finish.
Yeah, you should be. It was a great run. Tell me, when that first caution came out, basically lap 1 or lap 0, as you want to call it, what did that do to your mindset for the race? Did it make you more nervous? What was that like?
Oh, it made me a little more relaxed. So just kind of delayed, like, okay, give me a little bit more time to get into the swing of things. And, I'm always like nervous that I'm going to be that idiot that brings out the first caution. So as soon as the first caution comes out in every race, I'm usually a little more relaxed.
That makes sense. Well, thanks for stopping by, and thank you. Good job on P4. Anyone you want to say hello to or give a shout out to before we head out tonight?
Well, I'm sure that the other Waterback guys shouted out all the Waterback stuff, so to shout out my wife, Sailor Tower Magic, and my buddy, Nevermore Crafting Company.
There you go. Well, good luck tonight, and enjoy the Xfinity race.
All right, take it easy.
For sure. Well, Terry, now we load into the Xfinity cars. It's a much different package all the way around. The cars are going to handle different. It's a day race instead of a night race. There'll be less grip on the track. All in all, it's a very different race from what we saw in race number 1.
Yes, let's transfer our focus to the Xfinity cars where, well, who better to call the Xfinity cars than the guy who raced in them last season? Me. Welcome to the NASCAR Xfinity Series for the Precision Racing League of Season 3 for 2023. Well, hopefully we fixed the typo. I'm Terry Radford, or tonight, I guess, Redford. Derek Watson joined alongside for the whole season. I hope we are all together from start to finish, as this will be the time when after the season, I take the rest of the year off. Baby duties await me the moment the last race is done here, as we take a look at the schedule. Schedule is much different than the trucks. We'll skew away from each other, Derek, throughout the season. Tonight will be one of 3 or 4 times we actually get same races of both. Chicago street courses next week. We go to Atlanta, the super speedway version. New Hampshire, Pocono, Road America. Instead of getting Mid-Ohio, we get Road America. Michigan, Indianapolis Road Course, Watkins Glen, the Cup version, and then the Daytona International Speedway to end our season. I got to ask you on this one, too, what stands out on this schedule that could really play dividends at who wins our championship?
You know what? I owe an apology because about an hour ago, I said the road courses, and I was right and wrong. There are 4 road courses on this schedule, and they're hard ones. Road America is hard. That Indianapolis road course, I know the RaceSpot staff has some feelings about that course. We talked about this week long. And listen, look at that, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's 3 out of 4 weeks worth of road course. If you're not a road course ringer or veteran or specialist or even a liker of them, you're going to have a very hard month here in this schedule. Wow. But we end at Daytona, and that's what will keep us all motivated. Everyone wants to race at Daytona.
Well, I'm not sure if liker is a word, but we'll accept it over here.
Yeah, that was like Redford. I don't know what that was. Let's not talk about
we will accept it here in the PRL and RaceSpot because, well, you're calling a race with me, and my English is awful. You take a look right here who's not awful on a racetrack. That's Brett Karakoff in the number 11. Coming over here into the Xfinity Series, there are a ton of new names that are spread out amongst this field. Ted Lowendick is coming to this field. We got Chad Kibbe here. Nick McLaughlin's racing with us as well. Who else? I go up and down the list. Elliott White's back. Ryan O'Connor's here. There is a lot of drivers. There's only 1 or 2 that I had some run-ins with last season that, well, my bias will... I'll get over it down the road. There's Patrick Calgill, who made a bet with Joseph Tebben, is what he's listed in iRacing. So he'll be Joseph from here on out. Made a bet with Joseph that he had to run it if he won a race. He won a race last season, and here he sets the 31 machine comes to the Xfinity Series to run here as, well, Joseph Tebben's already doing better than me. He's 4th on the board.
Great run here and a great pace keeping on the 31. We'll take a look around the board. You can see the top 12 or 13 here on the left side of your screen as we're here at the Nashville Super Speedway. And you know, I said this is a much different. These Xfinity cars, in my opinion, Terry, are much harder to drive. Not a little harder, much harder to drive than trucks. They kind of have a mind of their own sometimes when it comes to steering and handling. It's more power, so you have to be more careful with that gas pedal. This is going to be very, very different, I think. Probably a little bit more aggressive than what we saw in the first race.
Elliott White jumps to the top of the board as here comes Bradley Holly.
Look at that hairdo.
Yes, sir. Well, I got my mullet. He's got his on. The Miracle Flow machine. And I will tell you, I'm still the part of What a Pack in a lot of ways. And I will say, within a shadow of a doubt, that it is still the greatest shampoo of all time. I just washed my hair with it not even an hour and a half ago before we went on the air for the broadcast. Amazing hair products. MiracleFlow.com. I'll plug that sponsor because, well, I got hats, shirts, shampoo, doesn't matter. I'll plug them because, well, I'm the guy they pay to talk. But Bradley Holly did not win. 2 seasons in a row, Bradley Holly did not win. He's looking to rebound this season. Necessarily, him and Jeff have been relatively fast here at Nashville. They were up at the top of the board or near the top of the board in practice. And here we go, lap number 1. Brad's going to slide into the 8th place position as Richard Regan Jr. puts it fast time on the board right above Elliott White.
Great run here. Now 62 is on screen. And you can see how they're riding that corner a little higher so far. I don't know if that's going to be the line for the track tonight or if they're still discovering it. But we saw the trucks able to get down in that corner. Now we'll see Mike Knight in the 68. Let's watch his corner here in that Thrustmaster machine. And that's a little lower, but no, these guys are hanging a little higher, Terry, than what the trucks were.
Mark Kalin crossed the board 13th here. We'll see where Mike Knight slides in with a 31.232. That's going to be very low on the board as he might not even score a time here. I think he might have brushed the wall somewhere and got an X, maybe right off the wall right there, potentially put him not on this board. But We'll see what the 68 of Mike Knight can do here as he comes back for another season. Can he put it up near the top?
Not to be insufferable. That might have been a hit there again on the wall. That looked like it coming out of the floor there. Not to be insufferable here, but I don't really get X's at Nashville. You know, all my X's, they live in Texas, Terry.
Classic. Good George Strait references. That's who I was listening to. But I know who we should listen to, and that's the pole sitter and the defending champion, Richard Regan Jr., who sets the pole. Adam Zemke with a surprising qualifying run to the outside. Elliott White, Jeff Evans, Brett Karakoff, and Chris Justice rounds out the top 6. Starting back in 7th is the 88 of Mike Witt with the helmets. Throw back to Dale Jr., Matt Gagnon, Bradley Holly, Skip Gandy, Doug Evans, my beautiful soul. RaceSpot's own Joseph Tebben back there in 12th. Mark Kalin, or as we like to call him, Bubbles the Wall Sponge, with Abner Acosta, Ted Lowendick, Charles Sumner, Ryan O'Connor, and Danny Cervantes back there in 18th. Row whatever, 19th is Jeremy Bailey, Nicholas Hunter, Patrick Cowgill, Jim Westerfield, Nick McLaughlin, Chad Kibbe is your top 24, and rounding out your 27 car field, Nick Byer, Jacob Emery, and Colton Lane. Interesting fact about Colton Lane, by the way. Colton Lane is a big University of Tennessee fan, so we shared that in common. And
no one's perfect.
You know what? Just for you know, poops and giggles here. Joey Tebben, what are you doing?
I'm sitting on the grid right now.
You having fun?
So far. I wish I didn't screw up my lap 1 in qualifying. I would have been a little bit quicker, maybe in the top 10, but I'll take P12. I see an Abner Acosta behind me. I'm shocked that happened.
Well, you know what they always say, right? If a frog had wings, it wouldn't go up his butt.
If my grandmother had wheels, she would have been a bike.
Probably. I mean, it's 110 track temp. How are you going to handle racing on a track that's concrete and really hot? So what are you going to do? I know you like to burn your tires up.
I'm going to go slidey. I'm going to go drifty, and hopefully, eventually, I get to make it to pit road and put new tires on.
What he's saying, Terry, is he's in for a real boogie all night long. That's what he's saying.
That's what it sounds like. Hit heel toe. Just remember, heel toe, do-si-do, hit the brake, and don't wreck into the wall, Joseph Tebben. Something like that. I think that's how Brooks have done sung it, but I think we'll figure it out. But Atomic Racing TNT, how'd that name come about?
Racing is a team that's already existed in the PRL. That's who I raced in F3 with. But TNT, Ted, Nick, Tebben. There you go.
I thought you were just going to say because you were Dynamite, you know, like AC/DC potentially.
Watch me explode.
Well, hopefully we do, because I don't want you to finish in the top 20. That's Joseph Tebben. He's going to start back there in 12. We'll make fun of him all night because he made a lot of fun of me last season, and kind of made me feel bad just a little bit because I kept proving him right.
All right, well, I think it's my last one for now, maybe for the night. See, I can't promise you that, but I think it's time now to Terry to see who's going to make themselves into a rhinestone cowboy and take home the trophy here in this Xfinity race.
I like that.
I told you I prepared.
I got one for you when we take the green flag. You gave me the song reference, the marketing reference. I got you for this one. The pace truck comes off. The Xfinity Series is going to get ready to see who ain't going down till the sun comes up. It's green flag in Nashville. Told you. I had you on that one. Start to fan out here. On the front straightaway, Richard Regan Jr. gets the jump. Jeff Evans is going to be there in 5th with Elliott White pushing there. And Karakoff and Adam Zemke, who did not get the restart there that he won in the 57 Applebee's machine. He's going to slide into 3rd.
Much similar to the start we saw about an hour ago in the truck race. Ooh, right up on that bumper there. But he was going to say hello with his chrome horn, but he backed out of it. But a lot more single file. Maybe they watched that truck race and they learned something about the start here.
Well, the crazy part about it is the Xfinity Series does not necessarily get cautious. And as I say that, the 88 goes around. Mike Witt's hard into the outside wall. Oh, and he gets popped on the outside there. Caution number 1 waves. And right what I was about to say, we don't get cautious in the Xfinity Series. We got a caution in the Xfinity Series on lap number 1. My fault. That was all my fault. I'm going to take that one. I'm going to take that one right to the bank. That was a hard hit.
That was a hard hit both times. So the first one was a very slow developing wreck where he kind of just got, drifted up into the wall. But that second hit, that's probably going to put him out of the race, I would assume. Here's the first one. He's going to get a small tap here. Very slow developing. And almost had it saved. And here's the second one. Oh, twice even.
Was that the 60 of Colton Lane that got him on the second go around? Because Chris Justice got into him. So Chris Justice gets him around. But who hits him there? Was it Nick Byer or was it Colton Lane? Because they're all on pit lane here. So is Mike Knight. There's a couple drivers who were on pit lane getting services done this early in the race. Would tell me that there's some damage that goes along with this one, because Colton and Nick are both on pit lane for quite some time. Yeah, Kevin, the commentator's cursed. My first one of the season. And it started off early. So we go back here to Nick. It looks like this is the one that hit him. Oh, Colton gets into the side of him and forces him into it. Nowhere to go there for Nick. He had it missed.
I don't know. I mean, maybe. I don't know if he did. Had Colton not hit him, I don't know how he was going to get around that. He was coming kind of head first T-bone style into that wreck. So maybe he would have saved it. I don't know. But that was a tough sell regardless. Well, I think it's kind of both our fault. As I just said, all these guys learn from the truck race and they're single file. And luckily, you spoke up and you had to say something, or it would have been my fault. But no. So let's talk about the differences in the race, though. All kidding aside, this is 10 minutes longer. It's a 50-minute race, so these cautions hurt a little less as far as time off the clock. Remember, the leader controls the restart here, so that'll be interesting. We'll have to probably see a pit stop in this race. I don't see how we get away without one unless we have lots of cautions, which I'm not hoping for the record. We have to have a pit stop in these races, I assume.
Yeah, we're going to get a pit stop. There's one that will be here in the Xfinity series. And I'm not going to say I miss driving the car already, but watching them go lap one here at Nashville, I already missed the car.
Listen, but when you saw that schedule, though, are you sure you missed the car?
I don't miss the car seeing the schedule. I can tell you that much.
I think you hosed Joey Tebbin into racing the car this season, knowing there were 4 road courses.
I'm more comfortable right here when I saw there was 4 road courses on the schedule. I quickly messaged Hugo and said, hey, I can do PRL on Wednesdays, by the way. It's like I thought I'd throw that out there that I will do this. You know I will. When I realized there was going to be 4 road courses, I think a lot of people watched me at COTA last season and understood 1,000,000% that the left and rights are not my strong suit. It's just not my thing. I will say that I did get a brand new pair of pedals, and that pedal set is it's not that my last was bad. These are load cell brakes. It's not stabby on the brakes like it was for me last season.
Yeah, I'm sure the pedals were the problem.
Oh, no. The driver's the problem. But the pedals definitely helped me quite a bit to pick up a little bit more speed. The throttle doesn't bounce as much. The old pedals I had, when you hit the throttle, they made like a to get you going. It was very hard to get them to roll. And the brakes, if you hit the brakes, it scrubbed so much speed off that the moment you touched them, it added 20% of pressure instead of 5 like I wanted. So it's a learning curve to the new ones. And I'm going to keep racing throughout the season with these drivers, especially with the one-back crew, before each race to understand, okay, this is what I need to do. This is how the racetrack's going to progress. But 110 degrees all season long, I am expecting to see very high temperatures on the track. And for concrete, Derek, heat does not resonate well.
No, it doesn't. It's going to be a very difficult time for these drivers here. Lots of loose conditions probably for this race. So expect to see some really drifty corners at some point in this run probably. But here we go. So we're ready to get this race back under green again. A little under 44 minutes to go when we go green here. And I'm excited to see these guys get side by side again and start to go racing.
We'll see as the pace car is going to pull down momentarily and put us back under the green flag for the second time here tonight. Sedan comes down to the pit road. Richard Regan Jr., the defending champion, is going to lead them back to green. It's Elliott White to the outside now in the 57 of Zemke behind him. Green flags back in the air. What a great start there for the 56 machine. Still 2x2 from fourth. As it looks like now Jeff Evans going to take a peek underneath the 11 machine. Him and Karikoff are going to have this battle down the back straightaway into turns 3 and 4. And here comes Bradley Holly. He's going to try to make it 3 wide, and then he thinks better of it. It's 2x2 all the way back from fourth till about the top 7 are all under a blanket trying to fight it out here as they go down the front straightaway.
Yeah, beautiful job finding out. We see someone with a connection problem back there. Hopefully we'll get that fixed. That terrifies the heck out of a driver if that's happening in front of you. But these guys are doing a great job holding their lines and getting it, and really getting up out of the corners. Opening that wheel is a difficult task here with these cars, but they're making it look easy so far here at Nashville Super Speedway.
Early run has produced good racing. We'll see if the long run will come into fruition. Not typically the caution-esque races that we see here on Wednesday nights. This is normally a very green flag oriented series. You take a look at Jeff Evans right there. Hey, we got the matching t-shirts. I got that t-shirt as well in my closet for the Miracle Flow Whataback Racing machine as he's side by side with Karikoff, and they're going to try to get around Elliott White as well, as it's a log jam right here. Bradley Holly's trying to give him a shove, and their team communication over there at Whataback is something I will allude to all season long, coming off of the team game, as Adam Zemke, what a shock, takes the race lead from Richard Regan Jr., but the team dynamic that they have over there, it is very much a coaching and developing session. Caution flag waves for the second time.
Haven't seen it yet, so we can find it.
I'm praying that it's Joey.
I believe it's going to involve Thomas Sink here.
Oh no, Thomas.
Wait, take a look and see what's going to happen here. Now what I question is, now we are a few laps into this race here. We're going to be, sorry, mathing real quick, 10, 11 laps in. Who is willing to come in and put tires on, knowing you may not get another caution? As you said, this league is known for pretty clean racing. At 10 or 11 laps in, and if you were 15th on back right now, Terry, would you be willing to take tires?
Well, I played strategy last season, and I'm a big strategy guy, so I potentially would. I think pitting now is smart. Well, a lot of faking going to go on here. A lot of people are going to try to draw people in just to see if they're willing to come. But yeah, Chris Justice, Sumner, Ted Lowendick comes in. You take a look at the replay right here of what brought out this caution, and Skip Gandy just gets turned there by the 52 of Chris Justice. That's the second time Chris Justice has been involved in an incident tonight, and Skip Gandy just so happens to be the victim here of this one.
That's what happens sometimes. You get aggressive on the outside of a straightaway like that, and you think you have the space to pass someone, and at the very last second, you know you don't when you make that contact. And it sounds simple. Oh, lift. But you and I have both been there. When you try to lift out of an incident like that, it's usually hard to do. By the time that guy turns in front of you, it's too late to do anything about it usually.
Well, I will say that the only incident that I caused on my own last season was with Nick Hunter. When I ran into the back of him, every other time I was spun. And Chris has been known to be a little aggressive in a couple situations. I'll be curious to see how the PRL admin team looks into that, and maybe going forward what they're going to do. I was on probation last season for incident points, so I would be curious to see what the 52 of Chris Justice is looking at in this season moving forward. And next week's definitely not a place you want to go into with the hey, you can't cause any issues. Is this going to be a non-caution thrown race? Because it is a road course, mind you. The only cautions we'll see in the night will be the truck series if we have any at Chicagoland. But your running order, Adam Zemke, strong early. He takes this race lead from the defending champion in the 56 is Richard Regan Jr. Brent Harakoff, White, Evans, top 5, looking very strong, very early here for these 5 drivers. As Abner Acosta's worked his way inside the top 10, Tebbin's there, Danny Cervantes is working his way in here, Doug Evans. A lot of good drivers sitting in this field. I think Joey said it yesterday. There's been the GT fixed cars. I don't know how the Xfinity series could have gotten any better, but it just happened to get more stout this season with a lot of drivers starting to come in and wanting to put their prowess here on the road side of it.
Yeah, that'll be fun to see what's going to happen here. So now the question is for these drivers who did not hit. We've done 2 restarts already. We've seen some pretty hard racing. I don't think we've worn the tires yet. Put it in a song reference. Don't rock the jukebox, meaning don't spin these tires. You'll check up the whole field if you do. Every time a caution happens, that has to be a concern for the guys who stay out. And that's a valid concern we all have when we're racing here on iRacing. That's another good reference there, by the way.
They will say that Bubba shot the jukebox last night. You just can't have a sad song. The only Bubba in the field is Mark Kalin, and he's been known to cause a few cautions or two, maybe like stopping on a racetrack at Talladega when me and Doug had a good chance of going up there and winning that race or getting a top 5 out of it. But Richard, may or may not have wrecked me once or twice in the season just because I was a goof. And there's a couple in the field that potentially has wrecked me. One sitting in 15th right now. I think it's Jeremy Bailey wrecked me to end my season last season. And I ended on a very sour note in the PRL. We'll see who doesn't end on a sour note here tonight, as still very surprised at Adam Zemke's speed early on. I'm hoping that he keeps this through the duration of this race. Very talented driver, very smart driver. It's good to see him running up front. But here we go. Pace car is going to pull down. They're going to go 2 by 2 here for restart number 3, including the start. Green flag is going to come out now. We're racing again in Nashville.
Look at that wonderful jump there by the leader. But also, it went both ways because then Regan was able to kind of pull down there and get in front of the inside lane. So great job by both guys in the front row there.
Really good restart for the entirety of the top 5 as they stay exactly where they set before. Mark Kalin works his way up there. He gets around Matt Gagnon for that 7th place position. Battle for the lead starting to heat up here as Regan Jr. is going to look underneath the 57 of Adam Zemke. Don't go below the line, but he's going to go side by side here going down the front straightaway into turns 1 and 2. He'll get the race lead. Zemke will have to stay high here. He'll have Karakoff to his inside now. Can the 57 hold him off here and get back to the outside for the time being? No, it's still 2 by 2.
And as a driver, Terry, that's one of the most frustrating things that can happen. So you get up high, you're all right, I'll let the first guy by. And all of a sudden, it's just like a bus lets out. Like, it's like a bus lets out at a restaurant and you're holding the door for one person and like 9 more walk right on by. That's what it feels like when you get stuck outside at a track like this. It's just like all of a sudden you can't find your way to not be there anymore. And you can give up a lot of spots if you're not careful. He's gonna get himself back in there in P3, and that's a very good thing for him.
The very good thing for him as he does keep it there in 3rd. You take a look right there at the race leader. He's starting to pull away in the number 56 machine. That side-by-side battle they had for 2nd. That's allowing Richard to pull off just a tad bit. They're starting to bring it back in now as Karakoff is going to be solidified there in 2nd. We look right here. Mark Kalin, he's fighting. You go all the way back right here. There's Matt Gagnon, Thomas Sink, Patrick Cowgill. All of these drivers right on top of each other, starting to fight it out. And here comes Jim Westerfield in the 35 machine and Jeremy Bailey in the 32, all trying to ride themselves inside the top 10 at that final 10th place spot, currently being held, though, by Joey Tebbin.
Yeah, a great run by Joey so far. We've had a lot of fun at his expense, but very solid run here at this track for, I said, being very difficult, very hot. And I suspect that this does get a long run here we'll see these cars start to slide around more and more as that run goes on.
We'll see what this battle right here produces into, as it is a blanket. As you look at Patrick Cowgill sawing at that wheel, he came from the Truck Series where he was, I'm not going to say accustomed to winning, but he's very accustomed to winning. He was used to the caution. You see the fan right there next to him. Now he's going to have to put the elbows out. He's going to have to race. And I know that sounds crazy for Patrick, who finished high in the points last season in the trucks, but he didn't have to race as much as he's going to have to race here in the Xfinity Series, where green flag runs are made very accustomed. You're going to do a lot of them.
Sorry, real quick, if we could, we left the camera shot. That camera shot, what stood out to me more than the fan, and the awesome monitor, by the way, that looked like an awesome monitor I saw in the background there. How much he was working that wheel. Talk about that from a racer perspective for a second. That means he's having a difficult time at this track. That means he's fighting the car, he's fighting the grip, he's fighting the handling. And when you're having a good night, and you know as well as I do, you're barely moving the hand, the car's almost moving for you, it feels like it sometimes. When you're having a bad night, it's like you're arm wrestling a bear. It's what it really feels like in a car like the Xfinity car. And you saw those hands going back and forth and sawing that wheel a lot. That means he's probably having a hard time with this setup.
That is true. And I had a lot of hard times last season understanding the track. I think the only track that I truly felt comfortable at, 1.5 miles, was Charlotte Motor Speedway. Had a lot of love for that racetrack and a lot of fun times getting around there. Texas is also a good track as well, but a place like Nashville in the Xfinity cars with a lot of rear power. You got a lot of torque in those wheels to get off the exit of the corner. You're going to fight it quite a bit to get the speed down in these things, to roll the bottom, like what you see right here with Danny Cervantes, Bradley Holly in this picture, Mark Kalin, Abner Acosta. You actually have to just think. You have to think tires. You have to think, what the track's doing. The track changes and ever changes as it flows, because Nashville's just a vessel that must follow as it goes. As Elliott White had to find a hole, and to find a hole quick, as now Danny Cervantes is underneath Elliott. Now Bradley Holly, he turns him. Oh, and Elliott turns Danny. Abner's in it. Joey's in it. Oh, and Danny gets popped by Patrick Cowgill. A bad night going worse. Holy mess.
That wreck took forever to develop, it felt like. That just kind of kept happening right there in that one little spot of traffic there.
We could have went for a break for an Applebee's commercial with how much that was a wreck. They started wrecking with one touch and one, and then here we go. We'll take a look here. Danny gets aggressive, bends it in there. Almost, he misses the corner. Pops him. Elliott pops him. Abner, Joey. Oh, Patrick.
It looked like he was trying the good old classic slide job and just wasn't able to clear it back up. And that's kind of where it all started.
This is not the place that a slide job wants to be calculated at. And now let's talk pit strategy for a second.
The answer is yes.
The answer is yes. As long as we're on the same page, the answer is yes. Everybody will come down pit lane right here. Charles Sumner might be our exception to stay out on the racetrack, as he is on 13 lap old tires. But it looks like even Charles Sumner is going to come in to the pit lane. Everybody will be in here, and how much damage needs to be fixed on a lot of these drivers who did get caught up in this incident. Take note, Joey got caught in this. He's sitting 8th. Where does he sit? Bradley Holly, where does he sit? They didn't lose a ton of positions on the racetrack in the caution, but what does the damage do for them? It looks like Thomas Sink might have took fuel only here.
Yeah, that'll be the questions. How long of damage? And listen, if there is a time for it to happen to you, I suppose this is the time. Sit down there and get it fixed. Fix your optional repairs or whatever you got, and come back out and race for the next probably 25-ish minutes when you go green, and have fun. You're better off getting it all fixed now and knowing what the car has, rather than wondering, man, what if I had fixed that damage, or what could this car have, and hoping you get another shot, another one shot, one opportunity to seize it all.
Good Slim Shady reference.
Thank you. It's not country music, but I thought I could slide it in there somewhere.
That's good. That's good. See, this is good working. I do want to catch Joseph's point of view from that wreck because he was involved in it. Joseph Tabin, it's Radford and Watson up here in the booth. What are you doing?
I'm trying to figure out if I had any damage or not. I was just asking Thomas Sink to look at my nose. Can you tell me?
It didn't look too bad. You have a little bit of a crinkle up in the front. We'll take a look here. And just a little bit of a crinkle.
I see some. I do see some crinkle in the front.
I didn't actually see what happened. I saw Danny send like a dive into turn 1, and then suddenly him and Abner and a whole bunch of others were wrecking. But...
Well, we're on board with you right now, and yeah, you just put a little bit of a front end to the back end of Abner. The magic of live TV that we can just watch this is, yeah, it just looks like he just parked the bus and you got in front of him. But
I want to thank Thomas Sink. He did a very good job of avoiding that. He didn't get into the back of me and make it even worse. So good job, Tom. Good job.
All right, so wreck count number 1 for Joseph on the season.
Maybe. That's 0.5. 0.5.
Yeah,
I don't think I'm going to get a caution point for that. I don't think I had anything to do with it.
Well, you won't get the caution point, but you definitely got in the caution.
Maybe. Technically.
No, you technically got in the caution. Caution number 1 with Tevin in it. That's good. That's good. Does the car still have horsepower?
As far as I know.
Do you feel fast? Because you look fast.
I mean, that run we had going there, I couldn't really tell if I was faster than the cars ahead or slower than the cars ahead. I was kind of just following Abner because I assumed what he was doing was the right thing, and we didn't get to go far enough to see if the tires were going to fall off.
That's a good person to follow, is Abner Acosta.
I mean, it wasn't in the end because of what happened, but it was good for a while.
Well, focus on the race. I just wanted to see if you got any big damage.
I think we're good. And I'm
Tell your
hoping there's not a huge checkup on the top line this time.
Tell your teammates I said hey.
I will. They've had some bad luck today.
Get out of the chat.
I'll try and drag myself away.
All right. Well, we're at 1 to go here. We saw some cars take the wave around here at the 1 to go marker, and they'll put themselves back around either on the lead lap or close to it. But I'm excited to see this is how this race is going to. It looks like we're going to have some short runs. There's really not much time left to have a long run, quote unquote, with everyone on new tires. So I suspect to not see too many surprises here. But let's see what happens, Terry.
Where were the cautions like this last season that would have allowed me to understand what I was doing different or what I was doing wrong? This is kind of unfair that he's getting the caution-free-ish stuff. Yeah, kind of mad about this, but can't be mad. Yeah, that's true. I don't have to race the road courses. Green flag's going to come back out here. Richard Regan Jr. is on the point. He's on the loud pedal here. Karakov gets a good start to the outside. No checkup that time, but here comes Zimke. He's going to get a look at the bottom, and it'll be 2x2. Oh, contact! Oh, Karakov's around! And he's going to take Jeff Evans with him.
I don't see a caution yet. That's the end. There it is, finally.
Oh, big wreck. A lot more involved in that one. Wow. Where were these cautions last season when I needed them? That all started right here. Simke was there.
The 57 and the 11, and the 11 crunches someone up in the wall there. Oh,
that's Evans. That's Jeff Evans, and then that's the 8. He gets in it. Skip Gandy gets in this one. We'll take a look right here at Brett Karakov. It looks like he's just going to try to clear himself in the corner. Yeah, he just tries to clear it. And around he goes. Jeff gets in the wall. Gandy's going to come in like a wrecking ball. Charles Sumner.
Yeah. Look at all that debris. Look at that. All that come flying off those cars, Terry.
Wow.
Well, I said earlier this is a much different race than a truck race, and it is because we're spending much more time under yellow than what we did the first time. And unfortunately, there's that classic NASCAR quote, right? Cautions breed cautions. And it's true because every time we have a caution, especially in a timed race, you have less and less patience, less and less chance to make a pass, less and less time to get to the front. And you have to, you have to make a move when you can. And sometimes that causes these moments to happen.
Well, we work our third caution of the evening, and that was a big mess.
It was. So I'm ready to break out a food question for you if you're ready.
Throw it.
You're from the supposedly great state of Tennessee.
The great state of Tennessee.
You now live in the mediocre state of Georgia.
Very mediocre state of Georgia. I'll agree with that one, too.
But do you have a favorite food to smoke?
A favorite food to smoke?
Yeah.
I'm a big brisket guy.
Okay. So for the first time a couple nights ago, I heard of this, and maybe you have, and I'm just behind the times, being a West Coaster. Have you had smoked bologna?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Good smoked bologna is always worth it with a little mustard. When I used to eat mayonnaise, a nice little strip of mayonnaise on it, throw you some bacon and a tomato, money.
I'm sorry, wait a minute, hold on. I can't say they're a liker of road courses, but you can say bologna?
Well, what part
I'm
of I'm uneducated don't you understand?
Okay, I just want to make sure we're on the same page here. Bologna?
Bologna. It's the old bologna. People call it bologna. I eat potted meat for goodness sake. So there's a weirder combo.
I had never heard of smoked bologna until a couple nights ago. I was watching a TV show about smoked food. It's like, I've fried bologna plenty of times in my life, but I had never smoked it. So
yeah,
I was curious.
However you cook your hot dogs, most people put a slit in them across and fry them in a pan. That's how I eat mine. If you cut
they don't. First off, no, most people would not fry their hot dogs in a pan. Like I
do.
You're not most people. We've proven that already. You're not most people.
I'm a very weird human. I don't like boiled hot dogs. I like fried hot dogs, especially with chili. But if you take what's that dish called that the meat with the bread around it, like the mushroom that's around it. I can't think of what it's called.
I have no
somebody will tell me in the chat. But you cut it on the top. You get a lot of good little slits in it, cut like X's in the top of it, and a little bit in the sides. You smoke that bad boy. Man, bologna never tastes so good. We're giving Hugo ideas. I bet he's hungry since he's home producing. I'm sure he's sitting over here going, man, I wish they stopped talking about bologna. I could go for a good smoked bologna sandwich right now.
It's food. I'll eat it. Like that's really what it comes down to. I've never had it yet, but I'm willing to try it out.
It's good. Smoked bologna are good. And to answer the question in the chat, are some of these racers new? Yes. Tevin stepped out of the broadcast booth, is racing this season. Nick McLaughlin, he's raced over in the road side of things. He's new. Ted Lowendick, he's new as well. We got a couple others that are new to this series. I'll scroll down my timing list here. Ryan O'Connor, new to this series. Nick Byers, new to this series as well. Brett Karakoff has jumped up into the series as well. And yeah, big changes here with the NASCAR Xfinity series for the PRL. And no, it's not a sandwich. It's a steak. I can't think of what it's called, but it's a steak.
You're not talking about Wellington.
So yeah, beef Wellington. So it's kind of like a Wellington where you cut the top and you put it in the oven. It's kind of the same way you cut your bologna. You got to cut it real nice and then put it on the grill. Try not to wrap it and don't put it on the heat. You got to put it on the other side of it. But if we get into the caution, we'll talk Nashville barbecue or maybe some Memphis chicken, because there's no better spots in Memphis than a good chicken spot. But Richard Regan Jr. is not thinking about food, even though the Applebee's car's to the outside, green flags back in the air. Zemke is going to be under attack from Bradley Holly as he's looking to potentially win for the first time in 2 seasons in the PRL on Wednesday nights. The 184 Miracle Flow machine crosses up. He puts himself to second, and here comes Thomas Sink. He puts himself to fourth.
Incredible to see Thomas Sink up here. We just saw him involved in a caution not too long ago. Here he is up in fourth. Obviously, he's got that car fixed and is confident in its abilities here.
Yeah, the way we ended last season kind of hurt. And I was not a big fan of the fact that we around each other a lot last season. We both had speed. We both understood the race. We understood the track. But we always got caught up in a bunch of stuff. And here's my weirdly odd... he's got a mustache now. Oh, Mark Kalin, the University of Kentucky fan. Boo. We'll make a bet this season. And hopefully he puts the Tennessee colors on as he needs to shave that creeper mustache.
moments of laughter and joy out of Marks. Obviously, he's having a good time here. Oh,
Jeremy
hold on
Bailey.
to it. Hold on to it.
Oh, Doug Evans.
That's a save right there. That is winning a car. Jeremy Bailey, my much respect goes out to you. Look at that empty room. I'll talk about the racing. Look at that empty room. But no, all thing aside, look, he just moved in. But no, that was an amazing save. Like that, he drifted that car around that corner and got hit the second time in that green car. It's still coming.
Yeah, Doug Evans put a little bit of a stamp on the side of Jeremy Bailey's number 32 machine. And I knew I didn't like Jeremy Bailey from the start, but knowing that he's a Cincinnati Reds fan, I don't like him anymore now.
No, I don't.
Yeah, dang Cincinnati. There's nothing up there. But there are a lot of cars on this racetrack that are under a blanket. A lot of fast drivers got taken out there in those streak of cautions that we have seen. But your top 5 from Regan to Kalen, it's about 1.5 seconds will separate them from up to the race lead. So a lot of good racing still ahead.
So I'm going to go back to that question you had in chat right before we went green about our drivers here are new. And I'm assuming that question is sort of in reference to, as we're looking for Chris Justice here on board, that question is probably in reference to all the cautions we're having. And I want to talk about that for a second. There's a lot of new in this race right here. It's a new season, so we've had a few weeks off. You kind of maybe need to get back in the groove and get your feet under you. It's kind of a new track. It's not exactly new, but it's not a common track here. It's a new style of racing because it's a short track that's not a short track with a dog leg. You got new drivers. There's so much going on in this one race. I think this first part of the season for the Xfinity Series is going to be chaos. Probably for the first 2 weeks. Chicago Street Course, I don't know what to expect next week. I don't know how to prep for it. So I don't know what we're going to see next week.
I know I'm going to be doing a lot of prep work as we take a look right here. Right, Nick McLaughlin, you were talking about new. Not new to the PRL, but new to the Xfinity Series, new to the oval side of racing. Nick McLaughlin, more of the F3 Series, the GT Series. He is a road course driver, and you see him right here. He's even got the road wheel still attached to it. So he's coming over here, sitting in 15th to a very foreign car to him. So he's going to learn all season long something different. There it is. There's the wheel. There's a lot of wheels that you can race in iRacing, and that right there, I believe that's the direct drive wheel, and he's going to have a challenge.
I couldn't imagine using that rim. So little movement available to you to get that around. But that's our second big widescreen monitor of the night. That's a thing in PRL. Maybe I need to sign up. Maybe somehow I'll just get a big widescreen monitor. I don't know.
You can get this guy off the screen. There's Mark Kalen again, having a good run in fifth.
But look at that. Sorry.
No, you're good. He's just got crappy blue.
But look, watch him out of the corner again. In the last corner, watch that car wiggle out of that corner. If it happens again here. Not as much out of 3 and 4, but man, in 1 and 2, that car wiggled, Terry. You can tell he's having a hard time. Got that what-a-back car in front of him, but man, out of 1 and 2, you saw the car kind of fishtail. Now that I've said it, he's not going to do it.
Yeah, see, once we start talking about
it's
something,
it's like when you invite it's like when the cable's broken, the cable guy comes over and then the cable works fine. It's that kind of thing. But no,
they touch the box and the box never did work. It's dumb. But I will highlight because I make fun of the guy sitting in 6th quite a bit, and I make fun of the guy. Charles Sumner in the wall or in the grass.
Probably in the wall.
He hit the wall to get to the grass. And no caution because he was off the racing surface. But I make fun of the guy in 5th and 6th. But what a run in his debut race for the Xfinity Series for old Joseph Tabin there in the 06. That's a very good one. You take a look right here at the replay of what happened to Charles Sumner through 3 and 4. Did he just lose it on his own? I think he blew up.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yep, saw a small puff of smoke out of the back. And I'm guessing what happened there is, remember, he was involved in that one wreck 2 or 3 cautions ago, and he really rear-ended someone on the outside lane, and probably just never got all the damage fixed or wasn't able to get it fixed. And that's the end of the day for Charles Sumner.
Well, not the end of the day here for Matt Gagnon or Chad Kibbe. here for the battle for the 8th place position as they were trying to chase down Jim Westerfield. And old Jim Westerfield is having a marvelous run in 7th. And for a lot of these drivers like Elliott White, who was involved in an incident you just alluded to, along with Abner Acosta, Danny Cervantes was in it as well. They're trying to climb their way back through this field. So for a lot of these drivers, as it's almost over, just take a look at Chad Kibbe right here in the Jordan blue colors here for the University of North Carolina. I'll throw my college knowledge out there with people for a second. That 199, pretty sporty here in the 8th place position, and handsome fella as well. Chad Kibbe will watch this. You could say thanks later.
So I want to point this out real quick before this camera moves. Watch how smooth that wheel input is here. Watching through 3 and 4 here, he barely moves that wheel. Watch it here, just a slight movement. I forget who it was I saw on board earlier. There was a wreck right before and I kind of lost my train of thought. But remember, we saw someone earlier really sawing at that wheel, Terry. That's the difference between a comfortable race and a not comfortable race.
It was Patrick Cowkill that was having the issue, but he's got the Fanatec direct drive wheel here. You see the hand movement. You talk about it. He's going about 15, 20 degrees here on the wheel in the corner.
That's a single movement.
And you hear the throttle? Well, you hear the throttle input as well. He's backing out at the throttle, riding that brake just a little bit, planting the car perfect. You hear it here. Woes it, on it. And he's very gently guiding his way into the throttle, not stabbing it as hard to get off the exit of the corner. That makes a perfect lap around here. And for Chad Kibbe, good run and can set his season off to a bang. Sitting here riding inside the top 10, pulling away from Matt Gagnon, too.
And great job with the sponsors right there in the corner of that camera shot, too. Made sure he got his Jordan brand in there. And good for him. Learning from the pros and how to get the cheap plugs in.
All he has to do is come to the promo class by Terry Radford. I'll give you all the promo ideas in the world. I mean, do I like Fanatec? No. You know why? Because it's not Logitech. It's not the official wheel and pedal set of the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing series. But there's so many wheel and pedal sets that you can race out there. You can go to Advanced Sim Racing and get some of the best products on the market today when it comes to the whole setup, the seat, the pedals, the wheel, the screens, all of it set up professionally, and you can get a discount using the Precision 5 coupon code as well. There are a lot of great things in the world of iRacing, just like there's a great battle for 10 as Elliott White actually backed out of it there and let Abner Acosta put him inside the top 10 again with the damage to the rear end of that car. Not going to affect the speed, Derek, but it's definitely going to affect the handling.
Yeah, and it could affect both, but you're right. It's probably more so going to affect the handling, which might be the more important aspect at this track. You said earlier during the track broadcast, this race is like a short track. So that handling might be more important than the speed, in my opinion. And so we're watching this battle here. That 5 car really pushing to see if he can get this car to get nervous, maybe wiggle out of a corner, maybe find a way to dive in there. And we only got about 10 minutes left. So if you're going to make something happen, can't wait any longer, or you're going to be out of time.
Definitely don't want to run out of time here as Richard Regan Jr. holds about an 0.8 of a second lead over Bradley Holly. Very close-knit fights going on as Abner's going to look to the outside here of Matt Gagnon. Matt went in with a defensive line into turns 1 and 2. Can he make it stick to keep this position? Abner will get to the outside, swing it all the way to the wall, using as much of the racetrack as he can, which will be very important next week, Derek, at Chicago Street Course to not overuse the track, but to use the left and right limits that you'll have between the walls to potentially have a good run. And also another keynote, Abner Acosta, very good on road courses. So maximizing points here tonight, even after a wreck and a disappointing start, to set him up for Chicago next week.
Yeah, Abner's a fan favorite in PRL and someone who knows his way around the track in different cars. So I'm not surprised to see him coming back through. And he could be one of those people primed to have a great season due to those 4 road courses. We're seeing here catching him now on Chris Kibbe, I believe this is, in the Nike car in that Tar Heel blue machine.
He's got the 199 of Chad Kibbe right in front of him, and he might be a fan favorite, but he's not a driver favorite. There's a little bit of a beef between him and Bradley Holly. And I'll allude to that one if it comes up during the season. As last season there was 2 or 3 run-ins between those two drivers where Brad was very unhappy and very unapologetic to Abner Acosta between some of the issues that they had. I'll be very intrigued to see if that comes out this season, as we are going to go to some road courses where you get pushed off track, you get pushed off track, right? You get pushed into the wall, oh well, it happens. It's a part of racing. But for Abner, he's making the best of a bad situation, back inside the top 10, up to the 8th place position. Not sure if he's going to necessarily have the speed to go up there and catch Mark, maybe Thomas Sink, but so far, so good, making his way up there.
Yeah, so once again, just like our truck race, our leader has already checked out. Richard Reagan gets up to about 1.4, 1.5 second lead. Once again, tell me if this sounds familiar. The battles for second and third, Bradley Holly and Adam Zimke. Second and third, that's going to be the 184 and the 57. This is currently the battle. Now, they got guys right behind them, ready to pounce. This looks just like the last race, Terry.
Yeah, it's like same verse, different dance, as Adam Zimke looks to the inside, having a very stellar run in that 57 Applebee's Camaro up here to the inside of the Miracle Flow 184s. They'll drag race down the back straightaway. I didn't expect this. I did not foreshadow this for Adam Zimke running up front. He will get a caution point, I assume, for the incident that occurred when he got into the side or the back end of Karakoff and got him sideways. But how do you make up for a point? Well, you finish second.
And you know what? Now the question I have is with about 7 minutes left, Zimke did a real good job at getting around Bradley Holly. Does he have some speed left? Can he close that gap? We'll wait and see here. I'm not sure he can, but why not go for it? What do you have to lose here with 6 minutes left?
Yeah, not a whole lot to lose. It's 2nd to 6th. They're right on top of each other. Honestly, you could put Jim Westerfield in there as well, as he's only about 4 car lengths off of Joey back there in the 7th place position. So good fights.
And almost in that whole idea of the judge saying, "Mama, tell me about the good old days." Look at the leader. A couple minutes left. Lap traffic. It is identical to 1 hour ago, Terry. We're right back where we started. And now we see if the leader can navigate this lap traffic, or if he lets second and third close that gap.
Well, Richard did have some issues with lap traffic last season, particularly at Richmond, where he was lapping some dude named Terry Radford. I don't know, why he would be lapping that guy, but he lapped him a couple times last season. They made some contact. It actually slowed him up quite a bit. And we had that issue where Richard got caught up in that. It never cost him a win, but it definitely made him mad. But you see the 8 of Skip Gandy, he moves up and out of the way. He gives way to all the drivers that are a little bit faster than he is. You don't get blue flags here on the oval side of things as you would on the road side. But he moves. Lead still saves 1.8 seconds. Zimke's starting to pull away, though, from the 184 Bradley Holly.
Yeah, he really is starting to pull away. And, the more impressive part of that to me was a lot of times the lapped car will give way to the leader, but they're so zoned in on what they're doing, they're not usually as willing to give up that space to the other lead lap cars. Now look at this right here. That's a great move here. Zimke used that lapped car for a second as a pick, or Bradley Holly did, pardon me, used it as a pick to get some space between himself and 4th place. But these lap cars are being very generous so far. By the way, this is Mark Kalin in 5th, and there's Joe. Is that Joey?
That is Joey. And it's our 6th place driver in the 06. Back there having a great run.
That's ahead of myself. This is Thomas Sink right here in 48. That's ahead of myself by 1 spot. That's Mark Kalin, and there's Joey doing a really good job here. In fact, an amazing job, seeing as how the damage he could have had to that car. He's doing a great job up in the top 10 here, almost top 5.
He's already outperforming the guy who raced last season.
Well, about 4 minutes left here. Now you're fighting for one position if you can. Now you're going to maybe throw it into a corner, see what happens. in the case of Joey, there's a big gap there between the car in front of him. This gap is not even closing, though, the first place. So realistically, it's almost like what we see on screen right now is probably where we're going to finish. I don't see it. I mean, unless someone makes a big move here, this seems pretty set in stone.
Unless the caution flag waves, and if the caution comes out now, race is over. It takes a long time to get around here. Pace speed is 45 miles an hour. So it is I think it's 1 minute 50 seconds puts you around this racetrack, and you have to do it 3 times. So the race would be official from this moment on if the caution flag did wave. We don't want to see that. We want to see green flag to the end. Regan holds it by 1.8 seconds over Adam Zemke, who's having a great run. You park it all the way back about 7 car lengths to Bradley Holly. Thomas Sink is right there. Those are teammates between the 184 and the 48 for Wadaback. So I'm sure they're going to race each other very respectfully. And it's another teammate back there in 5th of Mark Kalin, who is side by side with Joseph Tebben. It is a 62-06 fight for the top 5.
Joey's doing a good job holding that inside lane. He'll get this advantage here coming into 1 and 2. And he's going to slide up. And now they're going to make the crossover move here, maybe by the 62.
Oh, Joey got loose.
Yeah, Joey had a hard time in that corner, overdrove it a little bit. The 62 is now going to go to the inside.
62 looks to the inside.
Joey did a good job, though, at keeping him honest and really not squeezing, but keeping him close there. And that's what, if this was the last lap, that would be a beautiful drag race to the line for top 5. We'll see if these guys can keep that up for under 2 minutes and make that photo finish right there.
Well, they're bringing Jim Westerfield and Abner Acosta into this fray. So the battle for 5th is about to be a 4-car break that's going to sit right here. There's the 35 of Westerfield. He just came into your camera frame there. He's back in it in turns 3 and 4. Abner Acosta's not far behind it. So the tires are worn. We're 43 laps now on this stint. It's hot. This track tip is still blistering. Can he hold on here to potentially get this top 5 run? We'll have to see, as they're arcing it in the corner. A good little diamond approach. He gets to the back bumper of the 62. He'll get the run off the exit of the corner. They're going to go side by side. Yeah, he got him. Oh, he can't get into the entry.
Squeeze him down. As you said, the problem here is what they're doing behind him. They're allowing the 2 cars behind him to get involved in this race, and you can easily go from 5th to 9th, or 5th to 8th, I guess. Sorry, because you decided to race that. And you see every time Joey gets back down and says, "Nope, let's race single file. I don't want Abner and Westerfield involved in this race." So Joey gets back in line and waits a couple laps to try again. But we probably got 2 laps left here. I don't know where the leader is right now.
Yeah, we are going to come to 2 laps to go right here, but the battle sits for the top 5 position. It's between Kalin, Tebben, Acosta, Westerfield. These drivers are going. We'll get 1 lap to go when we come across the line next time by. As the same thing happened in the truck race. It's still side by side for 5th. The 06 to the outside, Kalin to the bottom. It'll be a drag race here down the back. Abner's going to work with Joey.
And that small push from Abner, that will help a little bit in Joey's favor. That small draft will help maybe get Joey a good run off the corner. The Abner's kind of helping both guys. He's playing Sweden, if you will, and is going to be very neutral about this.
Well, white flags in the air for Richard Regan Jr. The battle still sits right here for the 5th place position. We'll go double box here just for a second as the leader goes down the back straightaway as the 56, the defending champion. And we could do this twice in the same week. We did it on Sunday where the defending champion gets it. He's going to do it again. Richard Regan Jr. off of 3 and 4 down the front straightaway. He wins at Nashville. Drag race for 5th. Here we go. Tebben to the outside. Kalin to the inside. Joey, Tebben. Oh, Mark Kalin got it. No, Joey got it.
Oh, Joey got it. Scoring can't make up his mind.
Joey got it by 2/100ths of a second. He gets 5th as Mark Kalin gets squeezed to 6th. What a run there, but what a race for the 56 of Richard Regan Jr. Lost the lead early, got it back, and did not look back. He put on a smoke show, and wow, what a ride for the defending champion.
What a great run for Richard Regan. And he come down here and put it down. You got to think he's got to be asking the crowd, how do you like me now?
Good Toby Keith reference. He's still killing it out there. Yeah, that 56 machine's been fast. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes back-to-back championships this season. As we're going to take a look at your unofficial race results here with Richard Regan Jr. for Regan Bogue Motorsports takes the win. Adam Zimke back there in P2, Bradley Holly, Thomas Zink, Joseph Tebben, Mark Kalin, Abner Acosta, Jim Westerfield, Chad Kibbe, and Matt Gagnon. Rounds out your top 10 with Elliott White, Nick McLaughlin, Jacob Emery, Danny Cervantes, Doug Evans, Ted Lowendick, Colton Lane, Chris Justice, and Jeremy Bailey on your lead lap. Patrick Cowgill 1 lap down, Mike Witt, Mike Knight, Mike Witt, Ryan O'Connor, your 1 lap down, Skip Gandy 2, and your used car lot, Nicholas Hunter, Jeff Evans, Charles Sumner, Brett Karakoff, Nick Byer, and rounding out your field here this afternoon is going to be, drumroll please, I think that's it. That's your 29 car field.
Oh, that's it? Yeah.
That's it. I thought we had 31. That was the trucks. Well, what do you say since we got 4th? I guess we'll smack Thomas Zink out here. Thomas Zink's going to be standing by with Derek Watson.
Thomas, what an amazing run tonight. P4 after being involved in an early incident. Talk us through the race. What was it like out there?
It was kind of hectic. My plan was to kind of run behind and just follow everyone, but when the caution started falling, I had to kind of change that up and kind of get to the front. Luckily for me, starting, I think it was like 29th, some of the better guys kind of got taken out and the cautions kind of fell a little bit my way. I was able to get into the pits in and out pretty easily, and then just use long run speed to be able to hold that. So it kind of worked out in my favor. I got lucky tonight.
Nice. Well, we saw you definitely come back forward after that contact you had in one of the first cautions. So this is a track we don't come to very often. How much time did you get to prepare for this race?
Quite a bit. So last Wednesday, I think we ran a fun race here, and I learned that tires were everything, and I was just able to try to conserve, and was able to pull like 2 seconds on everyone. I just absolutely obliviated that field. So clean air was a big deal. I think the guys that did have clean air, like Richard, they were able to control the race really well. If you weren't, you kind of struggle a little bit. But for the most part, the track's kind of that one line bottom. You come out of the groove a little bit, you lose traction. It's a little difficult, but I was able to persevere for it.
Nice. Awesome. Well, before we let you go, tonight, Terry and I have been rocking the country music references up here since we're in Nashville. Do you have a favorite country music song?
I despise country music. It is terrible music. So
shame on you.
I do not like country music at all.
Well, we'll let you pass by. Maybe you can go have some smoked bologna or smoked bologna, as Terry said earlier, and enjoy the rest of your evening.
All right. Thanks, guys. See you.
Thanks, Thomas. Have a good night.
It's Thomas Zink, and we'll start with the running order back from first to third. We'll grab our race winner, Richard Regan Jr. right here. And Richard, it's Terry up here in the booth. How are you tonight?
I'm great. How are you?
Not as good as you are. I missed racing until I realized there was 4 road courses on the season, but you start the season as the defending champion in Victory Lane. You got to go back-to-back this season?
Oh, dude, that's going to be tough to do. We got 4 road courses and 2 plate tracks this season, so I think we only got like 3 true ovals, and this was one of 3, so I just gotta come out here and do what I did tonight on the oval side and luckily for me, Abner got involved in an incident, which sucks for him, but gives me a point buffer for the 4 road courses we got going on. So I don't know, man. I've never even turned a lap at Chicago. I'm sure most of the field hasn't either, but we got a lot of road course ringers who came into the series this season, so Maybe if I can sneak away second or third, maybe fourth here and there on the road course side, and we can survive the plate tracks, we have a good shot at going 2 in a row.
Well, this is the second time in the PRL this week that the defending champion has won the opening round. We saw it on Sunday with Trent Dinkle. We see it here again with you. How big of a stepping stone is it for you to come in here and add to your wins total, but also add to the confidence that the rest of the field really ain't going to have nothing for you?
Yeah, well, I've never even raced at this track, and so my first laps on it was tonight. And at first, I really didn't like the place, but as practice went on, I kind of fell in love with it. I usually like concrete tracks, so it kind of sucked we didn't really get a long run there. And like I said, Abner and Elliott got caught up in some stuff, so we didn't get to see what the long run would have been like. But yeah, it's definitely a good start to the season, especially with how many new people we got in the league. Not to be cocky, but I'm still on top, so we'll see what happens.
I'm asking everybody, and I'm going to ask you too, what is your favorite country music song?
Oh, geez. I couldn't even tell you, honestly. I do listen to country, but there's a lot of good country songs out there. So,
favorite artist then?
I'll go like a basic white girl here and say Morgan Wallen, but he's definitely not my favorite. I kind of do like the old school country a little bit more, but I haven't listened to it in a while because my girlfriend hates that stuff. So
you need to find a different girlfriend. I think that we found the solution.
Well, she just, she's not used to the true country. She's used to the country pop.
Oh, she's used to the fake country music. Got it. Well, Richard, thank your people, and congratulations on your win.
Yeah, for sure. I'm going to give a shout out to everyone at Regan Bogue Motorsports. Brett had a really good run going. He made one mistake that unfortunately cost him his night, but he moved up from the truck series last season as the defending champion, and I think he'll be a serious contender, especially on the road courses. Nick, Zach Austin over in the truck side, Colton, Garrett, Reese Bogue was not here tonight, but shout out to him. Everyone at Dirty South Racing, Mission 22, Multiple Sclerosis Society, Neonism Paints. You need a paint, go to facebook.com/neonism. Everybody at PRL and you guys at RaceSpot.
Appreciate you, Richard. That is your winner here tonight, the defending champion, Richard Regan Jr. And we'll take it back to Adam Zemke, who finishes P2, and he's standing by with Derek Watson.
Yeah, he is the driver of the 57 machine. Adam, what a run tonight. And what a tight battle you had with Bradley Holly towards the end of that race.
How you gentlemen doing tonight? I'd just like to start by thanking everybody that makes this league possible. RaceSpot, Advanced Sim, Butt Kicker, Racebox, just the PRL in general, everybody that makes this league what it is. I don't think I'd be anyplace else on a Wednesday night than here, so I'm pretty excited to be in second. I don't usually get to do interviews like this, so I'm always excited to get a good finish like that.
So what were those last laps like fighting Bradley? Were you basically out of tires? Was it a hard battle? What was going through your mind?
I was a little surprised, actually. That long run, I think, played in my favor at the end there. When we took off that previous caution, I thought I had some damage on my front end, so I was really worried about tearing my tires up trying to keep up with those guys. And then Thomas was running behind me for a long time there, and I thought, man, if he gets under me, I'm going to lose 3, 4, 5 positions. But then he fell back, and then Brad started falling back to me. It really surprised me. He looked like he was kind of pushing a little tight coming off the corners, and I was able to just be a little bit more patient to try to wait to get on the throttle a little bit, and I think it paid off. It just that little bit of extra speed, not trying to run into the wall on exits.
Fair enough. Well, looking ahead, there are 4 road courses and 2 super speedways ahead. Are you excited or nervous?
Yeah, I'm pretty nervous. I'm not the best road course racer, which is nothing to be ashamed of. It just is what it is. So it is really good. I'm getting good oval finishes because I'm going to need them. Not to say that I'm going to do anything real crazy at the road courses, but I'll be lucky if I can stay on the track sometimes.
Fair enough. Well, as you head out, we've been asking everyone tonight. Terry and I were really rocking the country music references during the broadcast tonight, so we have to ask you, do you have a favorite country music song?
Oh, yeah. I'll say Billy Joe Shaver. He's a good old guy.
Okay, awesome. All right, we got one. Our first 2 answers were I don't know and I don't like it, so we got one here who likes it, so that's good to see. Well, Awesome, Adam. Thanks for stopping by. And anyone to say hello to or give a shout out to?
Say hi to my dad. He's always watching these races week in and week out, and I appreciate that quite a bit. He's always here with me. I'd like to thank my wife and my whole family, basically. But and thanks to you guys for putting this on, and thanks to PRL again for putting on these races. These are great.
All right, Adam. Well, great job tonight. He's a driver at the 57 machine, and he finished P2. Terry.
Yeah, and guy sends me a message, tells me he's hungry. It's Bradley Holly back here who finished third. And Brad, I get you're hungry. What are you gonna eat?
Probably Whataburger.
Well, he finished third tonight, and I'm not gonna say, do you miss me as a teammate yet? Because I know I probably would have been a cause of another caution. But what did you need right there to potentially win?
Save tires better. Richard always does a great job, and Adam did a fantastic job in saving it, and just was a little bit better than me at the end. So I guess I just gotta keep working at that.
Do you miss me as a teammate?
Sometimes.
That's good. I miss you as a teammate. I told everybody who come up here as a Waterback teammate, I said, man, I missed the car, and then I saw the schedule, and I said, I don't miss the car no more. And 4 road courses, what are you going to do next week at the street course?
Cry? That's pretty much all I'm thinking about right now, because I know I'm going to torture myself all week with doing official races and just trying to get as many laps as possible.
I like that idea, but we've asked everybody across the board. We're in Nashville, the Music City. What's your favorite country music song?
There's too many to count. Let's go with She Thinks My Tractor's Sexy by Kenny Chesney.
I like that one. I was going to ask you a follow if you didn't have a favorite song like Richard. Who was your favorite artist? And I'll take Kenny Chesney. With She Thinks. That's one of my favorite songs too. But
of course, Richard doesn't like country.
Well, he said he liked country. He just listens to the pop country. He listens to Morgan Wallen. He thinks Morgan's the better version.
He said his girlfriend won't let him listen to country music.
Yeah, won't let him listen to the traditional country music.
He's a man. He can choose his own thing.
Well, women control the world, shockingly enough. I can't say what they control the world, but yeah. But Bradley, congratulations on your P3 here tonight before we go on a rabbit hole. Go eat you some good Whataburger, and we'll see you next week at the Chicago Street Course.
All right, sounds great. See y'all.
That's Bradley Holly, driver of the number 184. He gets it done in the P3 position. But, Derek, as we close it up, what's your final thoughts here from the truck in the Xfinity Series here at Nashville?
My final thoughts is, who likes road course racing? We talked to top 4 tonight, and no one's excited for the road courses. I'm expecting a whole different lineup next week in that Chicago Street Course race. So I'm excited for it. Had a great time tonight, though. Our first time doing this together. We've done other stuff together, but we had fun. So let's look forward to next week.
We got all season long to do it. You see the schedule right here for the NASCAR Xfinity Series. The trucks will be at Chicagoland, not the street course. They'll be at the Oval. It's about 20 miles or so from them. Chicago street course is back around. You can catch the PRL all week long. Catch them tomorrow night as well. For Derek Watson, Hugo Luis, I'm Terry Radford. Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your week, and I'll see you on Sunday for the NASCAR Cup Series with my buddy Dylan Coyle. Good night, everybody.